into a Jeep Wrangler YJ. Let's take a look. Long before I was a Honda guy, I was a Wrangler guy, and particularly the YJ square headlight model. And I finally found one. There it is in Keep On Wrenching orange. How about that? There it is, 1994 Jeep Wrangler YJ. And I gotta say, this thing is pretty darn clean. Got a hitch, so we can get the motorcycle trailer right onto that, so that'll be perfect. It's an automatic 4-cylinder with 126,000 miles on it. Interior's in great shape. And there has already been a bunch of repairs done to this that most Jeep people are gonna have to deal with. Hardtop came with it. A lot of work's been done to this already. It's been rust treated underneath it. Frame has been repaired where it has needed to be. And I'm telling you, I'm in love. So one of the spots that always go bad on these Jeep Wranglers are the floorboards. And we can see here, somebody already welded in brand new floor pans into this Jeep, both sides. I haven't had a chance to investigate all the way in the back yet, but that's huge. Also, when running a magnet down this area on each side, this is a big area for rot on YJs. This is all solid, looking really, really good. And if I can get under here real quick, it's all looking really clean along the rails. The light's not cooperating with me at all here, but somebody took the time to take care of this. Frame all the way to the back, to the front. Looks really good. I actually took a really good magnet before when I was inspecting it. I went through and checked stuff. You can see here we got weld plates in. It's been repaired, but it looks like it's been repaired really good. And man, if somebody's taking the time to go through all that work, that's a good sign for the rest of the Jeep. She's got some big meaty tires on there. Darn near new. I mean, look at the tread on these. Gonna run those for a while, but I'll probably downgrade those. Make those a little smaller. It's a lot of work for that little 4-cylinder. But there it is. That is gonna be a project. It's gonna need some repairs. You can see here, this is the only major rust damage, knock on wood, that I've found so far is in this windshield frame. You can see going down there, that's a very common spot for these YJs to go bad. Got the bikini top. How fun is that? Half doors. Also got the inserts for the top of the doors. Can throw those on, show you what that looks like. Here's a nice look at those half windows that you put in on these. They just slide right into some holes, and then you got zippers. So if you want to roll the window down, you can roll the window down. Rear seat, that'll come out. And then you got a nice little cargo area out behind here. Just like that. Couldn't turn it down. Opportunity popped up. Had to get it. What I love about these Wranglers is just the simplicity. All the dials. It's like analog, man. Going back 1994. Has a little upgraded sound system in it. Not much of a radio in these things, but it does have an auxiliary plug. Get this, the heater actually freaking works. And we got overdrive with that flip there. It works there. We got 4-wheel drive, all select there. And so cool, man. The automatic right there on the steering column. This is pretty darn cool. Windshield's in great shape. I'm gonna have to replace the frame for sure. But other than that, everything looks pretty darn clean down here. Previous owner painted it Harley Davidson orange, which actually works out great for Keep On Wrenching because our color is orange. With that said, let's get one of these Keep On Wrenching stickers on the 94 Jeep Wrangler YJ. If you want one, head on over to keeponwrenching.com and fill out the request form. All right. Only question is, where do we put it? Where do we put it? I think right here is going to look great. There we go. Keep On Wrenching sticker installed. First upgrade. Another pretty cool little thing with this little Wrangler is that all the manuals are here. Original owner's manual. Right there, we got Friendly Jeep Eagle, Warren, Michigan. And all the manuals in place. Hoorah! Wouldn't be fair unless we started it up. Key on.
I really had a hard time selling it.
I don't know if you can hear that, but let's go take a walk around. Fires right up, sounds really strong. Yeah. And here's the power plant inline 4. That's how these roll, and this actually looks pretty darn clean. Can you believe that light actually works? Those never work. Looks like it's got fresh wires, distributor. Battery doesn't look that old. A little bit of cleanup. This is going to be no problem, but we'll start going through stuff one piece at a time, as we always do. But there it is. Right there. Sure, it's going to have its little issues, but first look at it. This motor compartment looks pretty good to me. We got new muffler and exhaust all installed on it. And also skid plates all the way up on this too. Kind of leaning underneath the car. Taking a look with you for the first time almost, because I literally just pulled this into the driveway not too long ago. Ooh, I've been wanting a Jeep Wrangler again for a long time. And we got one. First things first are gonna be get this bikini top off, so I can go pick up the hard top that came along with it. I always preferred mine with the hard top on it. So this bikini top's got to come off, which is super easy. The only thing with the soft tops is that there is a small little rail underneath here that you got to take off before you put the hard top on. So I got to pull that off. And here's a little bit better look at that windshield rust right here. That weather seal just always seems to fail on these. But this frame is really easy to find. And it's in a really common color, Harley Davidson orange. So there you go. First look, 1994 Jeep Wrangler YJ, 4-cylinder, automatic. The newest addition to the Keep On Wrenching garage. And here's a look at my first love, my 95 YJ. This thing was great. I absolutely loved it. It crushed me when I had to get rid of it. But I feel like I got a pretty good opportunity right here with the 94. This is fun. Hope you don't mind if I move a little ways away from the motorcycles from time to time to feature some content on this. The key to the whole deal for me are the square headlights. Square headlights, these are the best Jeeps you can buy. So let me know in the comments, you gonna mind too much if I start featuring some Jeep Wrangler work on the Keep On Wrenching channel? I named it Keep On Wrenching because I knew one thing was going to lead to another and we'd be ending up into different things. But honestly, this is kind of my bucket list vehicle. And I'm so excited to have it in the shop. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you in another video or live stream real soon. Hey everybody, BB Benson here. Cruising in the 94 YJ. Hip to be square, man. It's great to be back. Back in the fold with the Jeep Wranglers. Beautiful night in Michigan. The little 4-banger that could, man. A lot of fun. All my gauges seem to be reading pretty well too. Charging, we got oil pressure. We got gas, we got temp coming up. And not a freaking drip on the floor this morning in the garage. I very quickly remembered why I love these things, man. It's the driving experience. It really, really is. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. I think we'll be seeing a lot more of this YJ. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. Quick project today. We're replacing window supports. Head over to the channel to see how it's done. This project had to be a priority because of these nice little spikes that Jeep put in their windows. Thanks, Jeep. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. Been hard at work, just kind of seeing what I got here with the 94 YJ, and it's time to fix one of the things that's been bugging me the most. These rear lifts on this gate, or on my back window, killing me. Let's change those. They're literally killing me because if you look at the bottom edge of this hardtop window, there are just these like really conveniently placed spikes that go into the top of your head. If you've had one of these fall on your head, you know what I mean. Let's fix it. All you're gonna need to change these is a flathead screwdriver. Nothing crazy. All right, what we're looking at here, we're just gonna take our flathead screwdriver, and if you look on the back side of this, there's a little ring. Just go ahead and get underneath that ring and then tilt the bar. Just tilt the bar a little bit. Do that on both ends. Here's a little closer look at that little ring that we're dealing with. Basically, you just want to slide your screwdriver. There's a little notch there even. You can slide right under and then pry that up. That's all you need to do. And we'll come back down to this bottom end. It's going to be the same thing. Just slide in. A flathead, you're just pulling that clip back just a little bit and tilt that stabilizer out of the mount, just like that. Just also note on this, silver end goes to the window, solid black end, that gets mounted to the actual hardtop. Before I install those, I'm gonna go ahead and clean off these mounting points. They're a little dingy, a little dirty, so let's clean those up a little bit. Just gonna put a little dab of all-purpose grease on each one of those mounting points. Don't need a lot. Just a dab will do ya. All right, after you grease those up, you're good to go to install your new supports. Kind of new to the YJ stuff. It's been many, many years since I've done this. I was looking at like Jeep part websites, and take a look at this. It really does pay to shop around a little bit. Here's a well-known Jeep website. Stabilizer, $32.99 each, man. Ridiculous. Way better option, half the price. Head on over to your local auto parts store. I went to AutoZone, and I got a lift for $17 each versus that upper 30 number that I was seeing everywhere else. So honestly, with these old Jeeps, hit up your local auto parts store. Nothing specialized about this. Straightforward. Save yourself some cash. You're gonna need it. I cannot wait to get these new lifts in because I've been bashing my head left and right. Basically, all you're gonna do is grab your new and tilt it and pop it on. It's really just that easy. Just tilt it right back into position. Remember, you've got your black bar that goes onto the hardtop. And then up top here, we've got the connector for the actual glass. And again, that's gonna be the same thing. Just tilt it right in, and it's gonna be locked in there. Oh my God, oh, I still need to put the other one in there. Still don't have total stability. Second verse, same as the first. Again, we're just gonna grab it, tilt it, pocket right on. Go ahead and lift up our gate. You might have to twist the end just a little bit. Lift that up, drop that in, just like that. And now we've got ourselves some stabilizers. Ah, what a relief. No more banging of the head. Closes up really great. Bam. There we go. New lift stabilizers installed on the Jeep Wrangler. And now when I lift it, it magically stays up. That's awesome because I've been storing all my tools and everything all in here for the Wrangler and just been kind of working out the back. So this is gonna save me a ton of literal headaches. So really, that's all there is to it. I'm gonna have to come back and attack these another day. I can't live with that. But new stabilizer is in, and we're good to go. That's about it, man. This is about the simplest little upgrade or fix that you can do on anything. I mean, that's how it's gonna work on pretty much all vehicles. Quick look here. I did end up finding a set of hard doors for it. Right now, I've got the soft top, lower short doors. I got myself a pretty good set of doors. They're gonna need a little bit of work. But overall, I've really lucked out with this YJ. Hope you found this video useful. If so, be sure to subscribe. Be doing some more little one-off projects on this thing. We got some bushings to install, etc. But this was just an easy one. You can do this in literally like 5 minutes. We'll see you in the next video or live stream. Sitting here staring at my YJ. And look at these dingy lenses. Dingy. We got to swap those out. Luckily, I've loved YJs for many years, and I have this piece of wall art of a grill, and it's got some pretty nice reflectors on it. Let's take these out and put them on my new YJ. All right, that's easy enough. All right, let's get these dingy ones out of here. Looks like all we got to do is disconnect the bulb. Simple little twist, and that bugger came right out. Let's go ahead and put the new one in. Doesn't get much easier than that. Let's put that home. We got a nice flashy, nice new lens going in the YJ. Let's send this puppy home. We're going from this all the way to something like that. Lots better, lots better. Out with the old, in with the new. Nice and fresh. I'll go get these back on the wall art. We got a little project coming up. We are replacing the front stabilizer bar bushings. And here's where those are at. That's gonna be these little bushings right here. And also the bushings on this and this. When you're getting into stuff like that, you're gonna want some penetrating oil. Take your pick. PB Blaster or go into the Deep Creep. WD-40 is not the right thing to use on this stuff. It's not gonna penetrate. Remember, the WD stands for water displacement. This stuff is actually a penetrating oil and lubricant. If you're getting into this, I highly suggest that you use these two products or one, whatever, and hit all those little connectors that you're gonna get into. It's gonna save you a lot of time, a lot of headaches. Come back, hit it one day, come back the next day, and then when you actually get the work done, everything's gonna be right as rain. Here are just a few things that I got lucky with when I bought my 94 YJ. I've actually got interior lights. That never happens. I didn't even notice that I had tilt steering. Somebody already did the major welding on the frame. Somebody already welded in brand new floor pans. How about that? Everything was undercoated, a little to excess, but rather have it than not. Someone was kind enough to include the locking lug socket with the Jeep. That's a win. Can we talk about more excellent welding repairs on the frame? That's so huge. Got this really fancy front bumper. Never had one of those before. Even got myself kind of a fancy rear bumper. Kind of cool. Those are just a few things I got lucky with on my YJ. I've never been a huge fan of the half doors on the YJ. That's why I went and found a set of hard doors to go with my brand new hard top. Well, not new, but new to me. These are going to need some work, but nothing we haven't handled before. The mirrors are gone, but that doesn't bother me too much. I got a nice set of mirrors on the half doors. All in all, the main panel seems pretty straight. Not sure what the hell was going on there. We'll have to patch that up. Some surface rust around some of these areas, and we'll have to swap out the locks as well. This is the big part. Usually you see those rot out right here. This one's got kind of a unique one, hoping to get that repaired. Got a little bit of rust starting here. Actually, it's probably a lot deeper than I think. Both the doors have all the trim pieces that match the current interior on the Jeep. One nice crack there too that'll need to be repaired. Hard top, hard doors for my YJ. Here's just one more thing that I appreciate about old Jeep Wranglers. It really comes down to the right angles. It doesn't matter what you're working on, you've always got a place to put your beverage. Like, this thing is crazy. There are so many right angles on a Jeep Wrangler. When working on modern cars, that like never happens, right? Everything's so smooth. One of the best reasons to love a Jeep Wrangler. And that's just one of those things that I love about these old Wranglers. Isn't it crazy how one broken bolt turns into a whole afternoon? Was simply going to install my bump stops on the rear axle of my 94 YJ, and bink! Now an hour later, I got myself pretty much a pile of tools and been to the hardware store trying to get this figured out. So, drill and tap, that's what I'm doing, drilling new holes. Got myself a fresh cutter, 8mm with my bolts. Bought enough to do the other ones because I got 1 to 2 on this side, but I bet the other 2 are going to be fried in there too. These bump stops go up underneath onto the frame like this. There's 2 bolts that go in. Prevents your axle from driving down in. So that's what I'm working on. Should have been a quick job, but fighting Mr. Rust today. What are you wrenching on today? Hopefully you're having a little better luck than me. It's all fun though. Love the challenge. All right, project update. Driver's side bump stock is in. Managed to re-tap that into an 8mm by 1 onto the passenger side. Fingers crossed. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. Let's install the rear axle bump stop on this Jeep Wrangler YJ. Here's what I ended up getting. Here are these extended bump stops. A little spendy, $64.99 for the pair, but they do bolt right on, and the mounting plate is on the actual piece, so you don't need to hunt down the actual plate. Yeah, pretty straightforward, a little spendy, but they should be in place. A lot of times these bump stops are missing. They prevent that frame or the body dropping down into the axle. There's a little bent there. You can see mine's literally gone. The bolts are there, but the piece is gone. I found this to be easiest by jacking up the car. I placed my jack right underneath the leaf spring plate and get her up off the ground. Once I get it up, I'll get a jack stand underneath it as well. I've also got tire stops on my front wheels. Remember to loosen up your lugs before you get it up in the air. Time to go for a little bit of a ride. Got to get that up enough to get my jack stand underneath that axle. Enough clearance. Go ahead and slide that in there nice and tight. Go ahead and drop the car just a little bit so you get a lot of weight on that jack stand. All right, time to get the tire off. All right, tires off, jack stand in, good to go. Never a bad idea to drop that tire underneath the vehicle as well. Can never be too careful. Let's get after these bolts. Let's hope they come out. Kind of figured these were going to be pretty nasty, so over the last couple of days, I have been reaching up there with some deep creep, hoping that we can break these free. They ain't too pretty though, not too pretty. 13mm. All right, let's see if the gods of war are on our side today. Let's hope we don't break it. That's pretty stuck. I think it turned though. I'm gonna go really nice and easy. Sometimes you get faked out and you think you're turning it, but you're actually just breaking the bolt. I'm pretty sure this one's coming out. I'm just gonna go nice and easy. You indeed got it, ladies and gentlemen. First one came out, and that rusty bugger. Fingers crossed on the next one. All right, over on the other side. Let's see if we can get as lucky on this one. Come on, baby. I think it turned a little. That's gonna kind of hold your breath for a little while you make sure you're not bending the metal. I think it's coming out though. I think we got lucky. Yeah, we got lucky. We got both of them out, but I just spied another thing that we're gonna want to be watching for. Problem here, we got our brake line coming in right across the top of the axle. Looks like there's a little mounting bracket here. This needs to get out of the way where this bump stock's gonna go, so I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit of finesse on this and move this just a little bit, real gently, but it's got to get out of the way of this, because otherwise when that bump stock comes down, it's gonna smash my brake line. That's no good. All right, just kind of made a little loop in it. There's enough play in it, so now when that comes down, that's gonna be out of the way. Don't have to worry about that. Something to watch for. I had to do that on the other side too. Got to be careful. That's easy to miss. Now we just want to make sure we get all the old stuff out of here. Look at that. This crumbles right before your eyes. That's the old bracket. Just knocked it off on the other side here too. Just want to make sure I get down to clean metal. And then I'm actually going to undercoat paint this too, just to keep protecting as we go. All right, I'm just gonna get up under here with my wire wheel, clean off this whole surface. You can see that rust kind of flying off of here. I'm gonna get this real good, try to get it down to bare metal. All right, I feel pretty good about this. I've got this kind of cleaned off. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe her down with some acetone, then hit it with some rust preventative paint, some Rust-Oleum. I might even have some undercoating laying around here too, but now that it's kind of cleaned off, let's protect it again. This stuff will work for now. It's just a Rust-Oleum black paint. It'll work. While you're under here as well, you might as well get the WD-40 out. Always thinking about long-term protection, so I'm just gonna start pumping in WD-40 into the frame. Wheels off, might as well do it. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. All right, while we wait for that to dry, I'm gonna go and clean up these bolts on the wire wheel. All right, bolts are all cleaned up. I'm gonna go ahead and hit these with some anti-seize. All right, we're ready to place it. There's a slight bend. You can't get it wrong. They are side specific. So this is the right side, okay? Middle bolt in towards the back. And then on the inside, or the outside, I should say, of the frame is where our mounting position is. So this is the right side. Let's get it in. All right, let's get this thing in. I'm gonna tack in the first one first and just get it hanging there. And get both of them started. We're in good shape. And just like that, gonna reach up. See if I can do this left-handed. See if I can find it. There we go. Just like that. Get that one started. We'll grab our wrench. Put that back on. Almost there. It's always fun when you get to flip the switch on the ratchet on a project. Send stuff back home. Let's go. Giddy up. All right, that one's pretty snug, so let's hop on over to the other side here. Let's get the other one in. Rear bolts in. I'm gonna go back and tighten up the front one. You just need to put these snug. You don't have to go all He-Man on it. You just need these nice and snug. You definitely don't wanna strip them out at this point. That's about right. And there you go. With those two bolts in, our bump stop is done on the Wrangler. I did run into a bit of a problem on the other side. A very typical thing on Jeep Wranglers is the driver's side is always a little bit more crusty than the passenger side. And I did end up breaking off one of these bolts. So what I ended up doing was drilling a new hole and tapping new threads and just got a new bolt and put it in. So if that happens, just slow down, take a deep breath and drill it out and tap it, and you're gonna be good to go. But definitely was a bit of a time suck because I didn't have all the right tools, but now I do if I ever need to do that in the future. All that's left to do is to get that rear wheel back on and get the Jeep back on the ground. There you have it. That's how you install bump stops on a Jeep Wrangler YJ. Pretty simple. I suggest you pull that rear wheel off. It makes it so much easier to get that stuff off. So very, very cool. Turned into a bit of a deal on the driver's side, but all is well. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. Also, if you want a free sticker, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video or live stream. Something a little different coming up on the channel. Here's a look at our next restoration project. We've got ourselves a set of hard doors for a Jeep Wrangler YJ. They need some work. The window doesn't roll up and down on this one. Gonna need to dig inside, figure out what's going on. Other than that, most of the hardware is here. We've got our strap, we've got our reel, we've got our handle here. Everything seems to work otherwise. Even got the flippy window vent. The panel itself isn't in that bad of shape either. Needs to be fixed up on this corner, but that shouldn't be a problem at all. Weather stripping seals aren't terrible, but they are cracked in some places. I already got myself a new set, so we'll be learning how to install these. Window vents even work. A little bit of rust cleanup here, new weather strip, and these will be back in service. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more. We're going to be following this project the whole way. Let's take a look at the other side of these Jeep Wrangler YJ hard doors. These are going to be a bit more of a project, going to require a little bit of welding. Going to have to get this cleaned up. We're also going to have some holes to fill. Wonder what that was for. What is that for? It's puzzling me. Other than that, the doors are actually pretty straight. No major dings or dents or anything. Looking forward to stripping these down to see what we got. I'm hoping I'll be able to steal the hinges off of the half doors and put those on here. Gonna have to do some comparisons. These do appear to be bent just a little, but if it's bent, you can always bend it back. Not sure how I feel about these chrome handles. Chrome doesn't really have a place on my Jeep. Gonna need to swap out the locks with the half doors for sure. Want the key to work. Be sure to subscribe to the channel as we work through the restoration of these Jeep YJ hard doors. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. Today we are going to replace the stabilizer bar bushings on this 1994 Jeep Wrangler YJ. This tennis ball is going to be the end of me. All right, we're underneath the Jeep right here, and here is the stabilizer bar right here. I've already gone ahead and took one of the brackets off. Looks just like this. We'll go ahead and do the other side to show you what that looked like. But yeah, it was time to get new bushings. These are pretty rotty. To do this job, all you're gonna need is a 14mm wrench, a 14mm socket on your ratchet, and probably a razor knife of some kind. All right, this is what we're going after right here. Look at that bushing. That thing is cracked, bad, and not really doing any good. You have 14 on the bottom, and then there's a nut up on top as well. Got to make sure you got a wrench on top, otherwise it'll just spin around. So let's get the ratchet out. Nothing too thrilling here. We're just gonna try. And I'm wondering if maybe on this side there might not be a nut. All right, driver's side, there is not a nut. It's actually put right into the casting. So passenger side, there was a nut on the top. So note to self, that does not exist. Go ahead and put your ratchet in reverse mode. This darn undercoat is ridiculous at times. Got lucky on this first one. It's turning. There is no nut, by the way, on the top of this. It's actually into a cast piece. So passenger side does have a nut on it, but we're just going to take out this long-winded bolt. So here's a look at it from the side. This is the bolt we just took out, and then the other one is on this back side. Doesn't feel like there's a nut on this one either. I think an extension is going to come in handy on this one. It's kind of up there at a weird angle. So I'll bust through the stupid undercoat again. Hopefully we get lucky. This one might be a little bit more stuck on there. Come on, buddy. Hard to get a grip. You gotta kind of break through that undercoat. It's a booger. That one's gonna be a booger. I got it. Woo! That was right on the cusp, I think, of breaking that. I think we got lucky on that one. That was determination. All right, once you get those two bolts out, this whole bracket is gonna come off like that. And then you can kind of expose your bushing right here. Yep, I'd say it was time for a replacement. Let's compare the old to new. There are the old ones. Definite, all dry rotted, all cracked up. Here's our new ones, nice and freshy fresh. That'll be a good little maintenance item, getting the old out. Look at that, nasty. Here's what we do with these old ones. The instructions on this clearly says to grease the inner diameter of the bushings. Pretty much anywhere metal on metal is, we're gonna wanna grease that up. And in the kit, they did provide us with a small tube of grease. All right, pretty straightforward. We're gonna grease up the inner diameter of this. Not rocket science here, just make that a nice coating of grease. This is some sticky grease that they give you. But yeah, that's all coated on the inside edge, inside diameter, as they say. Let's go ahead and get these installed. When I was looking at this kit, I was a little worried that I'd have to take the whole bar off in order to get the bushing in, but there's a cut in them, so you basically just slip them right over. So that's really, really nice. All right, here we go. I'll try to give you a little bit of a good angle here. Again, I'm just gonna use the split. just expand that over there. Flat side up on that bushing, just like that. And then you're gonna grab your bracket, put that in. That looks like that's gonna be perfect. And then the tricky part, I'm on the passenger side now. You got a nut and a bolt on this. So we're gonna get that in there, get that lifted up. There is a little bit of tension once you pull this off, but it's nothing that you can't just kind of push on yourself. Go ahead and get your nut started on that. And let's go ahead and grab our other one over here. Slide that up, give her a little bump, and tighten that one on. All we got to do is tighten that up. We'll do the other side too while we're at it. Just get all the bolts started at least. All you got to do from here is just make sure that your bushing is lined up nice and well right in the bracket. Go ahead and send those home with your 14mm wrench and a ratchet. And there you go. All tightened down. New bushing in place. Totally easy. Also, you don't have to jack up the car or anything like that. Just pops right out. Goes right in. Easy peasy. There you go. That's one more project complete on the 94 YJ front stabilizer bushings. I also have 4 more bushings that I can install, but I will do that at a later time. Hope you enjoyed the video. If so, be sure to subscribe. I'll keep some YJ content coming. But yeah, one piece at a time. Also, if you want a free sticker, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. We'll see you in the next video or live stream. We're driving in the Jeep. We're driving in the Jeep.
Gravel.
Go straight.
Are you?
We're getting dangerous. I'm telling you, a dozen vintage motorcycles can't replace a YJ. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. This wheel looks nasty. Let's give Armor All Heavy Duty Wheel and Tire Cleaner a shot. The instructions are pretty straightforward. Hold can 6 to 8 inches. Spray it on there. It's going to be blue. And then when it turns white, you wipe it off with what they say is a soft sponge. But I found a 3M pad cut through the grit. Way easier. Let's give it a whirl. All right, 6 to 8 inches. This must be important. Let's spray this down. Look at that pretty blue. Look at how nice that is. Ugly wheel. Hopefully it's going to be gone here in just a matter of minutes. They say it should turn white within 60 to 90 seconds. And then we get to scrubbing. One thing I'm noticing right off the bat is that this stuff just kind of falls off the wheel. I'm kind of constantly reapplying it, which the instructions didn't say I was supposed to have to do. What's going on, guys? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. All my product seems to be falling off. It hasn't turned white yet, so I'm just going to start hitting it with the 3M pad and just see what kind of damage we can do. Break through this stuff. I already know the corrosion is through the clear coat, but ooh, look at this. Wipe that away. That looks really good. Yeah, man. I hate clear coat. Have I ever mentioned that on the channel before? How much I hate clear coat? Because you got to constantly fight it all day. I'm going to keep wiping this down. We'll see where we end up. I think it's going to take a couple coats, honestly. You got to put in the work if you want clean wheels. All right, been scrubbing. Now it says high pressure water. Rinse this bad boy off. So you can see that clear coat is really eating through. But it didn't do too bad of a job cleaning up things that weren't totally damaged. I think I'm gonna hit it one more time. I got some little details to get to. So here's a look at the final results. Obviously, clear coat's the problem, but when you look down where we didn't have clear coat penetration, damn thing looks pretty darn good. Let's take a look at the before. It was pretty gnarly looking, not gonna lie. So I'd say an improvement was made. Not too shabby for 2.5 minutes worth of work. Armor all, heavy duty wheel and tire cleaner. It's not gonna solve your clear coat problems, but it did clean that wheel pretty good. I mean, it's not bad. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the video. Having fun today. If you enjoyed, please subscribe. If you want a free sticker, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video or live stream. Look at that shiny aluminum. Hey everybody, buckle up. We're gonna have some fun with some WD-40 and a battery-powered sprayer as we try to future-proof the 94 Jeep Wrangler YJ. Be sure to subscribe for a full video. Hey everybody, what are we gonna do about this dingy rubber molding on the YJ? We're gonna put some products head-to-head. We're gonna do Mother's, Armor All, and MacGyver's. Be sure to subscribe to see the full video. Something terrible happened to my Jeep YJ. My rear view mirror fell off. I've still got the mirror, but it won't stick on there anymore. So I ran to the auto parts store and got myself an adhesive repair kit. We're gonna use this to attach this to my Jeep YJ. Be sure to subscribe. More thrilling content coming up on the Keep On Wrenching channel. How in the world does a Jeep YJ and a piece of carpet trim threshold go together? Got an interesting project coming up on the Jeep. Be sure to subscribe. Listen to this thing, man. I hope you can hear this. Going to get this muffler changed on this YJ. It is obnoxious. I hope you can hear that in the video, man. I cannot wait to swap this out. Anytime I got anything like this going on, AA Muffler Brakes, Brighton, Michigan, place to go, 100%. They're gonna take care of this for me today. Gotta love the yellow. Just boom in your face. All right, she's all checked in. Be sure to check back. We'll see if there's a difference on the ride home. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. We're going deep on the 94 Wrangler YJ. What have I got myself into? This is all new territory for me. I have never done this, so one thing I always like to do is stay super organized. I'm installing a new water pump. There are a lot of bolts of varying lengths and sizes. To stay organized, got myself a little piece of cardboard, laid my new part down, and marked off all the bolt points. As I take one bolt out, I'm gonna go right to my cardboard and insert it there, so I've got a good reference for all of my bolts. And that's where that bolt's gonna stay until it's time to reassemble. That's just one of those simple things you can do when you're diving into new territory. It gives you a little bit reassurance that it's all going back together right. Hope you find this useful. Stay tuned for more updates. Be sure to subscribe. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. If you're working on this cars, you gotta get a headlamp. This headlamp, man, just helps so much to get in here. I'm cleaning gasket services. Without this would be a nightmare. Tip of the day, get yourself a headlamp. We're going deep on the Jeep YJ today. Going deep. I found a gremlin. I found it. Feels so good to find something. I was wondering why it never got to operating temp. Bad thermostat. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. Quick troubleshooting video. The other day, driving the Jeep, noticed that my temperature gauge basically went down to 0. It's cold right now, but it would just barely get over the 1, and no matter what I did, could never get it back into proper temperature range. So I went and did some hunting around online and found a solution to maybe chase this problem just a little bit. Before I go any further, all credit goes to PowerAddictsFixJeeps.com. If you got a YJ, you got to subscribe to this guy. So when the issue first started, first thing we thought of right away was it's got to be the temperature sensor, right? Here's the thermostat in this 2.5 liter Jeep Wrangler. And then here is the temperature sensor. Okay. Now, I didn't realize, and I actually thought the sensor actually sent the message to the gauge, but that's not what is happening. There's actually 3 parts to this system. You've got your thermostat, you've got your temperature sensor, and then way back in here, there's another piece to the puzzle. All right, I crawled way up on top so you can get a good look at this. We need to get to the sending unit. That sending unit is right there, that white piece right there. It's a single wire that actually sends the information to the gauge. See if I can see that, man. It's buried under a bunch of stuff, but there it is. That is the sending unit, the 3rd piece in the puzzle. It is a single wire that basically just pulls right off. I'm gonna see if I can get in here and grab that. And what you're gonna do to test this, so you're gonna detach it and you're gonna ground that connector inside this plug. All you're gonna need is a little alligator clip piece of wire. I alligator clipped right to the ground. There's a ground post right back there. And then I'm gonna take this end of the wire and I'm actually going to put that inside of the wire piece connector here, and then we'll do our quick test. One thing to note, the contact in this plug is pretty far down there. I did strip off probably, I don't know, a good inch or so of wire to reach all the way down to the contact there. And then again, I'm grounded right to my ground post on the back firewall of the motor. So next, you're just gonna go and turn the key and watch the gauge. All right, all I'm gonna do is turn the key ignition on. I'm not gonna start the vehicle, but there you can see that gauge pegged, and that's actually kind of a good thing because that means that the wiring is good, and the problem is the sending unit itself. So again, you just turn the ignition on, your temperature gauge should peg, which it did right there. So that tells me that I need to get a new temperature sending unit, not a sensor. Lots of moving parts here. Now, alternatively, if you don't see that meter peg over when you turn on the key, it's probably a sign that you have more of a wiring issue than anything, okay? Because we're actually grounding that switch and completing the circuit, and then that moves the needle, right? So if you're having the issue, you're probably in wiring territory, something I really don't need to get into today because I don't fully understand it. But based on what I'm seeing here, this indicates a bad sending unit. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to subscribe. Also, if you want a free sticker, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. One more gremlin solved, I think, on this 94 Jeep Wrangler YJ. We'll see you in the next video or a live stream. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. We are going to go ahead and replace the temperature sending unit on this 1994 Jeep YJ. All right, this thing's tough to get at. Highly encourage you to get some deep creep into the action or PB Blaster, pick your brand. We're going all the way down inside here. It's a long reach, so you might as well use some things to help make it a little bit easier. I would even hit this the night before you try this job. I was absolutely blown away by the fact that AutoZone just down the road had one of these temperature, it's called a temp switch, but it's basically a sending unit. They had one in stock. Let's take a look at the piece. This is the connector. This is where we pulled the plug out in the previous video. And this is gonna go down into the manifold. So this is gonna go down into here, all the way down into there. I have no idea how the hell I'm gonna show you this, but there it is right there. That's what we gotta change. I think the best way to do this would be a 14 millimeter, get a long extension on that ratchet. For good measure, one last time, kind of for good luck, I'm gonna reach down in here and I'm gonna hit this again. Before I go ahead and pull that out, I think it's just a good idea to undo the radiator cap. I also have put some cardboard down to catch any antifreeze. Hopefully it's going to be minimal antifreeze that comes out of this. I'm also going to consult my manual. Here's my manual. I've got another one too. This one only is the only one that has any information on this. And this is all I see. If the sending unit must be replaced, simply unscrew it from the engine and install the replacement. Use sealant on the threads. There'll be some coolant loss as the unit is removed, so be prepared to catch it. Check the level after the unit has been installed. That's going to mean I'm probably going to be burping the radiator a little bit as that goes. But I'm kind of wondering what kind of sealant I should be using. A couple other worthy notes. This should be done on a completely cool engine. That's another thing. All right. And as far as the sealant goes, Teflon tape was used on the installation of the new sensor. So I think I'm going to go with that because I'm not finding any other resources here that indicate otherwise. And there we go. Just a little bit of Teflon tape on the upper threads. All right. So again, that temperature sending unit is right there. Note, it did break when I was pulling the switch out. So it was brittle. It's a 14 millimeter down there. I'm going to get that out with the extension on the ratchet. And check that. Apparently this one is a 13 millimeter. I'm going to slowly back this thing out. Just a little bit at a time. But yeah, it's a 13. Just going to take it really slow and steady on this. Pull this out. Kind of watching to see how much coolant I'm going to lose. I got my part pretty close, so I can get it in there real quick once the time comes. All right, I think we got it. I'll be able to reach down there and grab it. Spin it with my hands. It's nice and, it was nice and loose. Don't see any fluid yet. Just a little bit of antifreeze bubbling out of there. Ooh, a lot. She's bleeding out pretty big. I'll be putting some antifreeze in this. Let's get this thing. Yeah, we'll be refilling the antifreeze. That was a lot more. I'm really glad I got that. I did put a catch can underneath. Ooh, learning every day. I don't know if there's really anything I could do to prevent that. But there we go. New sending unit is on the way in. All right. With that back in, I'm just going to go ahead, carefully tighten this thing up without breaking off the connector. Good luck. Slow and steady. Make sure you're not cross-threading. And send her home. There we go. That thing is seated down and in position. All that's left to do on this part is to grab our wire. Make sure we are oriented the right way. It only goes one way. And plug that in. Hard to do while holding the camera. And there we go. All plugged in. Back in place. We did lose quite a bit of fluid. So it's going to be fill and get all the air out of the system. There's a million videos on YouTube about doing that. We did lose quite a bit. So it might be time, actually. I might actually hold off because I need upper and lower radiator belt or radiator hoses anyway. So if I'm going to go through all that trouble, I might as well just flush the whole system. But for now, at least I know that that sending unit has been replaced. And that's one less thing to worry about. I think the nice thing to have on this is definitely a deep socket. Little shorty ain't going to work. And I can't imagine trying to use a wrench going back in there. That'd be absolutely miserable. So deep socket, you should be good to go. Here's a look at the old part. You can see that just broke right off. So this was my problem right here. Now that we've replaced that, see if I can find the part number here. Temp switch interrupter. That's it. Fingers crossed that did the job, but I feel pretty confident about it based on, the test we did in the previous video. All right, I hope you find this useful. Just make sure you do your radiator top off right and get all the air out of the system. And then I'll do probably a short or something once I get to that point. And let you know whether or not it worked or not. I'm pretty confident that it will. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to subscribe. And also, if you want a free sticker, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. Look at that pretty thing. And wouldn't you know, been running for about 10-15 minutes and I've got myself a temperature gauge again. She's going up. Gotta love it. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. We are back at work on the 1994 Jeep Wrangler YJ, and I learned something today, so I want to share it with you. As you may have seen in previous videos, I've been struggling with getting my temperature going up, so I changed the sensor, and I went back here and I changed the sending unit down there. I thought that was going to solve all my problems. I could never get this thing up to operating temperature. So lo and behold, one day, I open up the radiator cap just like this, and I turn the vehicle on. Notice anything? This kind of blew my mind when I put 2 and 2 together. I'm already seeing circulating of coolant inside that radiator. So, not the sensor, not the sending unit, my thermostat housing, or my thermostat inside that housing, is actually stuck open. This thing shouldn't be circulating right off the bat like that, so project today is to install a new thermostat. It all totally makes sense, right? This is cold. Just started it up. I already see a ton of circulation happening there. So to me, that says that that thermostat is wide open. I really wish I would have noticed that or knew that to look for that kind of right off the bat. But this does present a great opportunity to freshen up the upper and lower radiator hoses, get that new thermostat installed. And you know what? If I'm going to go this far, if I'm going to drain all this down, I might as well go ahead and put a new water pump in it too. Might as well. And I couldn't believe it again. I called my local AutoZone, and on the shelf, they've got a new thermostat. There's the part number. That was on the shelf. They did have to order in the hoses, but they were there the next day. Here's a look at that thermostat. This is what we're going to be installing. There are a ton of videos on this already online, so I don't think I need to cover this. There's a ton of great ones out there. But yeah, that lives inside the thermostat housing. Hopefully those 2 bolts come free. I've been dousing them with PB Blaster, Deep Creep kind of products here for the last week. So fingers crossed that all comes out. You know, I don't really mind. I'm trying to build this thing back up as reliable as possible, right? So I don't mind putting the new parts into this. So I'll have new thermostat, new sensor, new sending unit on this, along with new hoses and a nice new, flush and fill on the radiator. So that's kind of my day. I'm going to dive into all this stuff. Also, that water pump is way down below here. This is going to be a little bit bigger job. We'll see how much gusto I have. All right, I just wanted to share that, man. That would have saved me, probably, $40 in sensors and sending units if I would have just checked for that. So a buddy of mine actually sent me a video of his starting cold, and that is where I kind of put 2 and 2 together and was like, oh, my thermostat is open. So here's a clip of what he sent me. He just started his YJ totally cold. And looking inside of there, you don't see any rotation of fluid at all. It's actually really, really still. I think that's just engine vibration that you're seeing the ripples there. Very, very different from what I was seeing on mine. So thanks, Brad, for sending that clip. So yeah, you can clearly see how that fluid was just dead still on a cold start, so I'm really convinced. Hope this helps you out, kind of trace this down. Again, I'm brand new to this kind of stuff. I'm learning every day, but that's kind of part of the adventure. I like just learning stuff and diving in. I got a lot of work ahead of me today to dive in and get this thermostat in, the new hoses in, and hopefully that water pump is going to cooperate with me as well. If you found this video useful, please be sure to subscribe, and also head on over to keeponwrenching.com for a free sticker. All right, everybody, we'll keep you posted on the projects through the shorts, and we'll see you in the next video or live stream. Well, I gotta say, this was an adventure. Way more involved than I thought it was gonna be, tearing apart this Jeep YJ door. Overall, it went pretty smooth, but definitely some learning experiences. The doors aren't nearly as bad as I thought. Now that I got them taken apart, I'm actually wondering if the rust isn't even that bad. I mean, this could be sandblasted out, maybe bondoed. I don't know. Got to reinforce this weld right here, though. Holy buckets, talk about parts, though. Lots of odds and ends and little R-clips everywhere. These buggers were a puzzlement. Can you name this part? You know what those are? First time I ever encountered one of those. I am not looking forward to putting all this weather stripping back in. Got a new kit. Stay tuned to the channel. Full disassembly videos on the way. So I've been working on disassembling these Jeep Wrangler YJ doors. There were many puzzlements along the way, but I knocked most of them out. Probably the biggest puzzlement was getting out this vent window. I had no idea that this whole thing was this. It just keeps going and going. I think it was only 3 or 4 screws that had to come out. And once you got those, came right out. Piece of cake, but man, I scratched my head on that for a while. Had no idea it went so deep into the door. Getting the door latches off was no problem. I also puzzled about how to get the door handles off. Those things, man. What an educational experience that was. Once I figured it out, came out easy. All the parts are bagged and tagged. Hopefully, it's going to go together easy. Stay tuned to the channel. More vids on the way. In all honesty, I'm not sure what I got myself into when I decided to tear down these Jeep YJ doors. I got the glass out, weather stripping out, I got the vent window out, and I got a million parts. Hope I can put it back together. Hope you subscribe and follow along with the journey. Well, I've been digging into these YJ doors, and it ain't pretty. And when I say it ain't pretty, I really mean it ain't pretty. We are rotted all the way through and even getting into that main support. This didn't look bad when I bought them. I was like, some surface rust. Nope, you can see right through it. Then as you go around the door, there's one bad rust spot. There's another bad rust spot. Here's another bad rust spot. They're both this way. The driver's side door is way worse than the other ones, of course. But this is pretty gnarly. I'm not even sure how to go about fixing this. I'd really like your opinions on this one. Is that fixable? How the hell do you do that? And what's that gonna cost? Really bummed, because I want a set of hard doors on my Jeep. Never know what you're gonna get. For some reason, when I bought my YJ, there were zip ties holding the hardtop on. Let's fix that. I'm not sure why this Wrangler doesn't have that. There is no mounting plate from here to here. To make one, I'm just going to go get some threshold molding. I'm going to cut it to 43 inches. I'm going to use that to bridge the gap. Got to get rid of these stupid zip ties, though. It's pretty nuts. Look how good this lines up. The long edge going down goes right along the windshield, and the angle is almost perfect. All that's left is mark some holes, and then I'll be able to do some self-tapping screws to secure it to the YJ. I marked where I'm going to drill. Now all I got to do is drill my pilot holes. We're going to do our first one first. Get that all centered and in place. Now I mark the bottom, drill those out, and put some bolts in. That beats a couple zip ties holding on the hardtop. I got myself a set of Jeep YJ doors. Full steel. Even got them welded up where it matters. Gotta love good clean weld. All the weak spots done. These doors are going on this Jeep. Time to get out the sandpaper and primer. Question is, do I paint it tomato red? Or do I go with black? I want this thing to be black eventually. Decisions. But at the end of the day, I got myself a nice set of YJ doors. All I really wanted to do was put steel doors on my Jeep. Nobody told me it was gonna turn into this. These are the easy ones. These are not so easy. I'm sure this is gonna become a pain in my butt too. Not too worried though. I'll get it all back together as soon as I get the dash put back in. Why did you put nuts on the back of these? Why didn't you weld the nuts into the freaking firewall, into the frame? Why? Why, Jeep engineers? Why? I feel like it's just a joke, like they just laughed all the way, saying, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, no, this is fun stuff. We'll get it though. It looks a lot worse than it actually is. But man, doing this all by yourself, no bueno. All right, one down. You don't get much better than that. Oof da booga. Let's clean this nasty wheel rim off the YJ. Get yourself a couple cans of Rust-Oleum aircraft remover. Lay it on thick. Let this stuff do its thing for about 20 minutes. After 20 minutes and you start to see the peel, go ahead and grab your wire wheel and start attacking the surface. Once you're done with the wire wheel, the clear coat should be gone. Just a matter of going in and cleaning up any of those spots that you missed. I recommend a steel brush, a dental pick, and 3 M pads. Once you're happy with where you're at, go ahead and give it another rinse and dry it off. Next, grab yourself a sander and a 60 pad. Go ahead and hit the whole surface. All you're really going for is some uniformity. Looks pretty good. Now hit it with some 120. Looking pretty good. Next up, go ahead and do some heavy duty wheel cleaner. Let that stuff do some work. And there you go. In just a few hours, you've got yourself a set of fresh rims. Feel free to clear coat or wax. A full video is on the channel. Hey everybody, at BB Madsen here. Let's clean up some pretty roachy looking rims. We've got cracked clear coat, we've got yellowing, we got pits. They just don't look good. I want to install new tires on some rims, but they ain't going on dirty rims like that. First step, make sure you wash out the wheel really, really well, and then go ahead and get yourself some Rust-Oleum aircraft remover. Get that applied and let it sit for 20 minutes. You can be kind of liberal with this stuff. Get a good coat all over it. And you're gonna walk away for 20 minutes. That's the hardest part, is walking away. You can pretty much see this stuff go to work instantly. All right, 20 minutes are up. I'm gonna go to a wire wheel on my drill, and I'm gonna go around and hit everything, start knocking out that clear coat. It should come peeling right off. To get inside some of those tight spots, a nice little wire brush works well. You can get in those little crevasses. Also, a 3M pad will help you get in those nooks and crannies. Once you feel you've done good enough there, go ahead and give it a good rinse. And now let's just give her a little dry off here. All right, you can see we still got some discoloration and things, but we're gonna get that out here really, really fast. The main thing that we wanted to get rid of was that pesky clear coat. Now it's game on. All right, already quite an improvement, but you can see we've got some discoloration, you know, kind of around the rim. There's a little remnant there. I'm gonna go ahead and grab some 80 sandpaper and an electric sander, and let's knock that out real quick. This is where things really start to move fast. We're really starting to get someplace now. These edges look actually nice and clean, so I'm gonna go ahead and up to a 120. Only thing that's really left is you may have to go and get in here by hand with your sandpaper to just smooth all this stuff out. But that's easy. That's just all the way around the clock and get this as uniform as possible. So here we just gave it a little bit of a rinse. Now let's wipe this off. Get all the residue off. This is actually looking really, really, really good. From here, you can really go as crazy as you want. You know, I'm not looking for polishing. This is really just a Jeep. I just wanted that ugly yellow clear coat gone, and that has been accomplished. I mean, let's take a look at before and after. Here's the scuzzy wheel before. Look, the clear coat's all chipped up. It's got all this yellowing going on. It just looks gross. It just doesn't look good. God, I hate clear coat. So, you know, really, just a little bit of effort will get you up to here. And this is much more respectable, in my opinion. One of the cool things I've noticed about this process is that, you know, from this moment that you do the clear coat for 20 minutes and you let it sit, you can get pretty much the other wheel completely, you know, sanded and cleaned up. So you can just get, you know, get kind of going. I really think that this job is only going to take me, you know, maybe 2-3 hours today. Way less than I thought. But again, I think the key is let the clear coat remover freaking work. Don't get ahead of it. Don't get antsy. Let it sit there for the full 20 minutes. As I'm working through the project today, to get all 5 wheels done for my Wrangler, probably going to need about 2 of these cans. That'll do it. Not too bad. And to kind of finish things off, I'm going to go ahead and hit it with some heavy-duty wheel cleaner, spray that bad boy off, and that'll be ready for clear coat if I choose, or spray some sort of protectant on it. But yeah, curious to see if this kind of makes it pop a little bit more too. All right, let's spray this bad boy off. Looks pretty damn good to me. Way better than what we had before. So let's review. You got an ugly wheel. Make sure you clean it really good. Get it nice and degreased. Then you're gonna go and take your aircraft remover. You're gonna give that a real heavy coat, and you're gonna let that sit for 20 minutes. Next, go and grab a little wire wheel and start knocking out the bulk of that clear coat. If you need to, you can go ahead and get yourself a nice steel brush, or you can even jam with a little bit of 3M pad to do some damage. Next, you're gonna go to town with some sandpaper. I did 80 and 120. Really pleased with the results. From there, feel free to give your wheel one final good clean. Give it a dry. If you want to clear coat it, you can go ahead and do that, but otherwise you can just get some protectant on that. Pretty cool. Not hard at all. Anyway, that's how I did it. Make sure you've got really good ventilation when using that aircraft remover. And yeah, 1 wheel at a time. You'll knock this out in 2-3 hours is my guess, depending on how bad stuff is. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to subscribe. Also, if you want a free sticker, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. And lastly, go find us on Facebook, the Keep On Wrenching Community Group. I got 3 more wheels to do. I better get to work. Oh, how silly of me. I forgot to say, we'll see you in the next video or live stream. So let's review. You got an ugly wheel. Make sure you clean it really good. Get it nice and degreased. Then you're gonna go and take your aircraft remover. You're gonna give that a real heavy coat, and you're gonna let that sit for 20 minutes. Next, go and grab a little wire wheel and start knocking out the bulk of that clear coat. If you need to, you can go ahead and get yourself a nice steel brush, or you can even jam with a little bit of 3M pad to do some damage. Next, you're gonna go to town with some sandpaper. I did 80 and 120. Really pleased with the results. From there, feel free to give your wheel one final good clean. Give it a dry. If you want to clear coat it, you can go ahead and do that, but otherwise you can just get some protectant on that. Pretty cool. Not hard at all. Big day for the Jeep Wrangler interior undercoat, or interior coat with Raptor. We have sanded the entire interior. Still got a little bit of rust to get after. The palm sanders and wire brushes have been getting a workout today. And also the shop vac is getting an extra workout today too. We're doing the whole damn thing, front to back interior with the Raptor. Also got a fancy new tire cover for the YJ. I'll let you know how it goes. Get excited. That went fast. I'm telling you, use the air compressor option. This Raptor liner went on fast, and I absolutely love the texture. This is one of the easiest painting projects ever because you don't have to care. Super excited about how this Raptor liner went, but I keep coming back to the tire cover. Keep on wrenching, friends. My wife got me this great tire cover for Christmas. Love you, babe. This rocks. Happy Saturday, wrenchers. I'm just in the garage hanging out with my 94 Wrangler. I've made a few upgrades to this thing since the last time you saw it. First big upgrade, a set of Toyo Celsius 2 tires all the way around. We got rid of the soft doors and went with full steel doors. Getting those fitted was quite an adventure. Fully stripped back and got this thing Raptor lined. While I was at it, I added one of these best top cargo carriers on the rear gate. Went ahead and got upgraded barricade floor mats all the way around and added some solid seat covers. Man, these things fit really tight. Can't have a Jeep without some hand grips. I also added a step so my wife can come along on Jeep rides. Got myself a soundbar too because you need music. I've been really focusing on the interior bits. This thing has come out really, really clean. I'm loving my 94 YJ. Well, what's the next project on the Jeep YJ? I'm gonna be removing the fender flares. I've heard that these can be a real bugger. I think getting a good soak of PB Blaster going is gonna be called for. I can only imagine how rusted all those bolts are gonna be. Wish me luck. I'll try to document the journey as long as there's not too much profanity in my future. You might be wondering why I'm taking them off in the first place. Because I gotta paint the Jeep. They gotta come off. They also need a bit of restoring. Like and subscribe to follow along. I've got a very important question for the wrenchers. Which penetrating oil do you prefer? PB Blaster or Seafoam's Deep Creep? Deep Creep is almost twice as expensive as the PB Blaster. So do you get what you pay for, or does it matter? Let me know in the comments which you prefer. So luckily I've got a pretty good schematic of what's going on here. So here's that fender flare, and there are a bunch of kind of plastic washers and then a bunch of bolts. And there's a lot of them, man. There are 32 bolts, or screws as they call them here. It's 11 and 12, and then 32 of the nuts. 8mm. So 8mm wrench, 8mm socket, whatever. I think your best bet is to get a pair of vice grips and get that around that rubber nut. All right, let's reach up in here. See how bad this is gonna be. Hopefully it's not gonna be too painful. We are about to find out though. Now we can take a look at what's going on. So here is the little block, okay? And really it's just a metal screw that goes into here. Finally got that one off. Oh yeah, small victories tonight, boys and girls. All 4 of these, I got these broke loose. Woo! Happy Friday. Hey everybody, a quick video on my process for removing really stubborn bolts. I got some torque bolts to remove my windshield frame on my Jeep Wrangler, and these aren't gonna be fun. First step, days and days before you even want to attack it, hit it with some penetrating oil and try to get these things lubed up to help you on the extraction process. Next, do yourself a favor and get through that paint coat. Hopefully you don't have to deal with this. But yeah, you're gonna wanna clean out any paint over the top of these bolts. You can see here, I've already been successful on getting 2 of these to move. Let me show you the process right now. First off, go and find the right bit. It's gotta fit nice and snug. This is a T40 on this Wrangler. I'm gonna position this really firmly in place and then grab your steel hammer or something, mallet. You gotta shock this thing. Let's give this thing a few good taps. Next, I'm taking that bit and I'm putting it on my old school impact driver. Not using an electric impact driver on these. You're just gonna strip out the head of the bolts. Ask me how I know. Old school impact driver in place, nice and perpendicular. You're gonna be twisting hard to the left, and then you're gonna be hitting this with the hammer. Let me get you a little better view. Do it a little bit until you start to feel the bug. think I got it to move. After you've done that, go ahead and grab yourself a ratchet or a breaker bar and pray you hear the magic crack. Got it. Just like that. Whew. That still wasn't easy. From there, should be able to just slowly start backing this thing out. This process got me 3 of 4, or 75% of these, and these are notorious for being a major PETA to get out. This one right here, unfortunately, it did strip out, so my next attempt is going to be to cut a slot in the bolt, try to get it out that way. Worst case, I'm going to find a drill bit the size of the shaft of one of the bolts, and then I'm just going to drill this out. I hope this video helps you out. Get the hammer, ratchet, get the right size bit for whatever it is you're working on. Maybe drag out a breaker bar. And man, I'm telling you, these old school impact drivers are pure gold. I would tell you, just skip that electric impact. Super tempting, but not when you're trying to break loose something like that. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. Go get that free sticker at keeponwrenching.com. And be sure to hit up the Facebook group, the Keep On Wrenching Community Group on Facebook. See you in the next video or live stream. This thing is clutch. So far, I've been really spending a lot of my time getting steel doors fitted and also getting the interior in tip-top shape. I couldn't be happier with how this has all turned out. But now it's time to turn my attention to the exterior. In preparation for painting this Jeep Wrangler, I'm gonna need to remove all of these fender flares all the way around. Now, there's a whole bunch of bolts up underneath there that hold all this stuff together, and that's kind of the mission. I'm also really curious to get these fender flares off because I'm noticing some imperfections in my fenders, and I do believe I have a little bit of a rust issue down in this area, so I need to get these off no matter what. I've heard that these can be a real bear cat to get off, so let's go and see what we're dealing with. So luckily, I've got a pretty good schematic of what's going on here. So here's that fender flare, and there are a bunch of kind of plastic washers and then a bunch of bolts, and there's a lot of them, man. There are 32 bolts, or screws as they call them here. It's 11 and 12, and then 32 of the nuts. I'm just wondering how many of these bad boys are gonna break off on the way out. The first step before we even try to turn some of those bolts is to get some penetrating oil on all those different connecting points. Then I'm gonna reach underneath and really soak each one of the connector points, both front and back. All right, I've hit this all really well. I did put some cardboard over each one of the tires just to make sure I don't get a bunch of that oil all over the tires. But in all honesty, I'm just gonna walk away for the night and let the sea foam deep creep do its thing. Hopefully this will help me out tomorrow. All right, it's the next day, and it looks like the deep creep has creeped, just as it should. So let's see if we can get one of these started. I think your best bet is to get a pair of vice grips and get that around that rubber nut. You're gonna need to go up inside of here. It's gonna be almost impossible to show you, but they're little rectangles. They're on the outside, they're facing on the out. So kind of feel up around there. So you can get your vice grips up around and click these in. You're gonna wanna hold them because you're guaranteed they are gonna wanna spin. There's a pretty good look at getting around that outer washer, that outer nut. Next up, 8mm. So 8mm wrench, 8mm socket, whatever. Probably need them both along the way, but 8mm to pull these out. All right, let's reach up in here. See how bad this is gonna be. Hopefully it's not gonna be too painful. We are about to find out though. This one's coming out easy. Didn't even crack or anything. It's just coming right out. So let's get this one going. So far so good. It's coming out pretty easy. Yeah, it actually fell right out. That's awesome. Now we can take a look at what's going on. So here is the little block, okay? And really it's just a metal screw that goes into here, just like this. That is all that is holding on those moldings. There's just, I think there's gonna be 32 of them. I'm sure there's gonna be some nuances along the way. And some nuances there definitely are with these things. These are pretty finicky. It's really blind work, so it takes time. Some of these are definitely gonna be harder to get at than others. This one looks like we're gonna have to get underneath the actual splash guard underneath here. So I'm gonna have to move that a little bit. And then also similarly on this end, we got one here as well, right here. And we're gonna need to get up underneath there and just move that splash guard, little plastic grill right here. Gonna have to move that a little bit. Here's a pretty good look at this backside one. If you peel this cover back just a little bit, you can see that nut in there. Here it is, there's the bolt. Sometimes in these tight spots, it's easier just to turn the block. One to go on this first one. This nut, or this bolt, is right underneath here. I'm really curious to get this one off because I think I got a little bit of a rust issue developing in this spot. Should have a timber here real quick. Oh, we got one more, of course. And of course the last one is gonna be the hardest one. Just trying to find where the hell this thing comes through. It's a tough one. I can already tell some of these are going to take immense patience. This one is really tucked up underneath here. This one's really tough. This last one, of course, is not cooperating. Deep breaths. There was no way around it. I actually had to pry this guard out a little bit, this little plastic shield. There was no way to get at the nut. Now I can get at it and pull this piece off. Yeah, just had to do it. It'll pop back in, no problem. Definitely encourage you to wear some gloves. These black moldings will tear your hands up, something fierce. You gotta get back in there. Man, this is a booger, man. I'm gonna start swearing pretty quick. All right, had to pull it out a little bit more just to get in here to get this darn thing. This is a booger. This is a booger. There's not really a good way to attack it either. Damn thing's hanging around. Wish I would have done this one first. Oh man, you're just working so blind. Yeah, it is like literally like a quarter, like not even a quarter turn, like one tick of the ratchet at a time. And man, once it slips off, you're starting all over again. This one really sucks. Everything was going so well until I got to this one. All right, finally got that one off. Man, had to really go and pull this whole cover back pretty aggressively to get at that one. I think same thing's gonna be true on the other side, but on this rear one, there are 6 fasteners. Actually pretty pleased here. Not seeing, I was expecting to find a whole bunch of rust and stuff underneath here. I did find a little bit of a rust problem up underneath here, but we can deal with that later. Give yourself a lot of time, man. This project has potential for lots and lots of delays. All right, I got 6 down, a whole ton to go. You'd think this would be super simple, but those things are a booger. One detail about removing the front fender flare is that you've got to turn this little turn signal indicator lamp. You got to take this off. So 2 Phillips screws right here is going to remove the lens. All right, easy peasy. It should pop right off. And then reach around the back side. You're just going to reach straight up and you're going to unplug the bulb and that'll pull right off. From there, we're just gonna grab our 8mm and our vice grip, and we should be able to just start working our way, and let's get the easy ones first. The hardest part about this whole project is that the majority of it you're working completely blind. You can't really see the fasteners. You're really working just by feel, and that can be kind of frustrating at times. But one by one, those things do start to fall out. And we've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, holding this front end together. Now we come down here, and we're gonna address those bolts. Sorry, I got my headlamp on, but you're gonna need 7/16 to get these bolts out. And really, we're just looking at that one, which is easy to get to, trust me. And then we got another one right over here, which is even easier to get at. Wish me luck, this thing should fall off after I get those two out. Or so I thought. These went easy though. And I was wrong. There's gonna be one more up in the front. We'll look at that in a second. Looks like there's just a little grommet or a little plug holding the front end together. And see if we can pull that off. All right, we'll take a breather before I tackle that one. But I'm glad I pulled this because look at this. I got a big crack right here. It flexes and it moves. And it looks like it's traveling. I wonder if it was patched or something at some point. Gonna have to address this. That crack really sucks. That's a lot bigger than I thought it was. Here's our last culprit. Had a little heart attack. I was like, where in the hell does that other end of that bolt go? Actually, not a big deal at all. Just open the door, hop in the cab, and there she be, right there, 7/16. And let's hope that this goes nice and easy. What the hell was that thing again? And that was the last one. So there we go. We got the front and back off. On one side, at least. That front side's way easier than that back side. Woo, all right. Time to flip the old girl around and tackle the other side. I could see how this could be a giant pain in the rear, but we got her done. Just got to do the other side. That's how you do it. I hope you found this useful. If so, be sure to subscribe. Also, go get yourself a free sticker at keeponwrenching.com. So many plans for this 1994 YJ. Super excited. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to find us on Facebook, the Keep On Wrenching community group. Whew, man. Time to get back to work. We'll see you in the next video or live stream. Oh, and don't forget, bag and tag those parts. Man, this is a booger, man. I'm going to start swearing pretty quick. All right, had to pull it out a little bit more just to get in here to get this darn thing. This is a booger. This is a booger. There's not really a good way to attack it either. Hey, everybody, at BV Matson here, stripping down the Jeep Wrangler from 1994 to do a paint job. And that means I got to strip down these steel doors. The goal is to get these stripped down so I can sand and paint, so that means the handle's gotta come off and the lock's gotta come off. Also, all the weather stripping and the interior handles and all that good stuff. You'd think it'd be easy, but it's a little bit of a process. It's gonna be easiest to start with the window rolled down. This first seal should just pull all the way out across the top. Once you get down below the window, you're gonna run into some little hooks. Just pull on that thing a little bit and these are gonna pop right off. They're little hooks, take a look at them. Just like that. Go ahead and just kind of tug and pull gently because you don't want to tear the little holes, right? Because there's little holes in here that you need to get at and you don't want to wreck those, so gently start to coerce those loose. Eventually you'll have the whole thing in your hand. There are also a couple seals on the lower edge of the window. Simply grab them firmly and kind of jiggle those loose. They can be kind of tight, but once you get it, it'll pop right out. There's going to be 2 of those. And you're just going to kind of give these a little tug. You'll see you're basically just loosening these from some little slots. Next up, we need to get this door panel off. You're going to need a little torque set. In order to get these screws that hold the handle down, you're going to want to take both of those off. With that handle removed, you can pop off the little cover on the crank. Go ahead and pull those off. We'll get the crank off next. Just like that. Keep your crank handy though, you're gonna need it. Well, we got the Torx in our hand, we might as well get rid of the door stop right here. It's just 2 bolts, easy peasy. This will pop right off as well. Now we're ready to pop off the door panel. And there's gonna be just some pressure fittings all the way around. Work your way around and start popping this thing loose. And once you find them all, you should be able to just lift the cover right off. And if you lost a couple of these along the way, don't freak out. It's an easy fix. Next up, we gotta get this cover off. A bunch of Phillips screws right here, and then there's gonna be some Torx down here. These are gonna be a T27. Be careful with these though. You can cross thread them, and you can strip out the heads on these real easy. Ask me how I know. All right, now we can remove the cover. This reveals all kinds of fun stuff. Next up, we gotta get this door handle off. Just reach down in here and take that bolt out. Next up, and don't forget this, be sure to roll your window all the way up. I want to do a nice thorough job of painting this, so this chrome strip that holds that inner cover in, that needs to come out. That is just riveted in on this one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and drill those out. Slow and steady wins the race. And that's why you roll your window up. Now we get to start having some fun. We're gonna identify these 2 rods. These actually run all the way over to the door handle. We need to get these disconnected. So there we go, we're gonna follow these in. We've got these 2 that we need to disconnect. There's 2 different styles of these. On this one, you're just gonna push the plastic piece out and lift that rod up. Right here, I'm just gonna push it out, and I'm gonna lift that rod up. Let's take a look at that other variation. Some of you may run across some that look like this, like they're just like little metal pieces, and the ends of your rods aren't gonna be bent. They're gonna be kind of serrated a little bit. You're just gonna pull those straight up. They should pop out. With these disconnected, you're gonna be able to lift up your handle and just pull this thing straight back. While it's all still connected, I kind of like to tape these together. These can be a little discombobulating if they get separated and stuff. So I like to tape these together and then go ahead and write which side of the vehicle they came off of. Next up, let's get our lock out. And I want to show you kind of how this actually works. What it is, it's locked in, it's out on the outside of the door, and then underneath there's like this little shim that slides into a slot on your lock. And that's essentially what's holding it. It's like this kind of in your door. So to get that lock out, you need to jam or punch this little sliding piece out. It actually goes up in there, like something just like that. But you're gonna wanna hit it from the inside of the door. From inside there, you're gonna be hitting this to loosen that up so the lock falls out. Before you can do that, just go ahead and do the same thing. Unlock the little bar that goes to your lock and lift that up. There's one other piece that we need to get off, and it's actually one of these little clips, one of these, okay? You're gonna need to grab that. It's right around the end of the kind of the pin on the lock. You gotta get that off. Best way that I've found is just get like a really narrow flat screwdriver and then work your way in there, get some leverage and pop that thing off to the side. If you got a magnetic one, that can really help too, because you don't wanna lose that little connector piece. So there you can see I popped mine off, and sure enough, it fell down in the bottom. You're gonna have to get a magnet. Once you get the clip off, you can just kind of pull this whole assembly rod out and put that to the side. It's really tough to see, but you can see around the lock on the lower edge, right down there, that's where I'm gonna be hitting. So I'm gonna be hitting down, trying to slide that off the lock. This is gonna be almost impossible to show you, but what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna take a long flat screwdriver. This is a really long one. And I'm gonna slide it down along that ridge, get a little angle to it. It's tight, and just drive that out. I'm gonna be honest with you, getting these out the first time, this can be a real bugger, a Bearcat, a nuance. I don't know, man, it's everything. This thing blew my mind the first time. Once you get that out though, that lock should fall straight out the bottom. Now we're moving on to get this door handle out, and I'm telling you, This sucks. I hate this. This is miserable. What you got to do first is get down underneath here, and there's going to be a little R-clip. Go ahead and pull that. Here's a good look at that R-clip. Just a Phillips screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, whatever. Just going to pull that, pop it out. Having a magnetic one's really nice because it comes right out. You need this. Get that off of there. From there, you can go ahead and lift this rod up. Might be a little stuck. Might have to pry it off a little bit, but now it is disconnected from the door handle. All right, so before we get into getting this out, I want to show you how this works. So there's this little clip. You don't want to break these, you don't want to bend these, all right? But they slide on the door handle just like that. And then what actually holds the door in is that you put the handle in, the sheet metal on the door is here, and then what we're doing is we're sliding a wedge through, and this little piece here is going to go click, 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 click until it gets really, really tight. Now, to get it off, putting it on isn't so bad, but getting it off can be a real bear cat. What you need to do is you end up driving, let me actually get this off of here. So you got this little piece here, we're going to take that off. To get it off, you're going to actually drive this whole thing through the door handle. So you need to get behind it with like a punch and drive it through, and then once it falls off, you're gold. One other cautionary tale before you start removing these, make sure your window is all the way up. I actually broke one of my windows on a previous set of doors because it was just slightly down, and I nicked it and the thing shattered. All right, I'm just gonna grab my long-handled screwdriver. I'm gonna get this nice and square on the back side, and I'm just gonna start tapping this. See it kind of move forward. Just gonna keep hitting it. And just watch and make sure you're not making contact with anything. That one actually popped out really nice. It's almost completely free right now. Once you get it forward a ways, if it doesn't fall out, don't worry about it. Just leave it there for now. And then turn your attention to this one over here. This one is a booger. This one's a little trickier, the inside one, because you don't really have a nice right angle at it. You can't get at it really super straight, so it's a little kitty wampus. But again, same thing. Once you've gotten both of those all the way forward, what you can do then is get your window coming back down. Shouldn't be that big of a problem to do. There we go. Just had one of the rods in the way there. Glad I noticed that. That could have been a problem. But I'm just going to pull this window down as far as I can get it. And now we can attack these from the top. So this is going to be really hard for me to show you, but if you look down through the top, there you can see that bugger. You can grab that with a needle nose and start pulling it forward. Then you can move over to the other side too. They're both kind of snaked in there. Just be really careful of your window. Grab them and start pulling them forward. Eventually, they're going to come loose. All right, I'm just going to kind of get in here, reach back and pull it, and there you go. That one just fell over. It's hanging out there. If you got a little angled set of needle nose, it really kind of helps relieve some of that pressure. Just going to try to pull that forward. So I'm really struggling with this one. So one thing you can do is get underneath of this part and pry that up a little bit. Make sure you're getting all the pressure off of that piece. You can bend it back later on. I wish I would have caught it on film, but as soon as you get them both out, your handle's gonna fall on the floor. So I need to sand and paint and all this stuff, and I don't want to paint over all of my new weather strip. So what I want to do is I want to actually pull this stuff out. The best place to start for this one is up at your corner window. Get a screwdriver in there, get underneath it, and lift it out. You don't want to tear it up. You'll get underneath it, pull that up. Once you get it started, you can start to work this whole thing right out. Now I'm not going all the way with this, all right? I'm just pulling this out to this point. And then what I'm gonna do, because this thing actually goes all the way down into the door, what I'm actually gonna do is just tuck it into the door for now, get it out of the way of paint. So I'm just gonna take the end of it, and I'm just gonna start pushing it down inside the door. I can go retrieve it later. The window is going to stay down while I paint anyway. And then that way, I don't have to try and wrestle with getting it back in there. It's just going to be here hanging out, nice and protected from any overspray. That's really about as far as I need to go. You could take out the corner window here if you wanted to, but I'm actually just going to, these are in really good shape. I don't need to, so I just pulled all the molding back, and then I'll tape this all up. I'll bind this all up really good and keep that out of the way of paint. It's going to be fine. So there you go. This is ready for sanding and paint on the inside. The exterior is ready for paint too. The Jeep engineers make us work for this. One thing I'll also say is that if your steel doors are already fitted to your Jeep, I would highly encourage you to just leave these hinges where they are, because aligning and fitting those steel doors was an absolute nightmare. Just leave them alone. Paint over them. Also, be sure to bag and tag your parts. Everything on here is pretty much right-left specific. So do yourself a favor and bag and tag. This is going to be a big project, sanding this down, getting this all ready for paint. But I think it's going to be a really fun adventure. Now that the doors are all stripped down, that's probably where I'm going to start. I hope you found the video useful. If so, be sure to subscribe. Also, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. Get yourself a free sticker. You deserve it. You made it this far. And also, go find us on Facebook, the Keep On Wrenching Community Group. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video or live stream. What have I done? What have I gotten myself into? What have I done to my Jeep? It's in 1,000 pieces. It doesn't even have a windshield anymore. It doesn't have any doors. Oh my God, it doesn't even have any lights. It has no lights. It has no lights. Oh, we're going deep. We're going deep on the 1994 Jeep Wrangler YJ. Well, I decided to dive in and start sanding on the 94 Wrangler. I knew I was going to have a couple of trouble spots. This kind of stuff I can deal with. This kind of stuff, not so much. Kind of the same story on the other side. Not quite as bad. This repair actually held up pretty good, but it was starting to flex and crack through the paint. Only other spot I found was this one, and that ain't so bad. There's one more I gotta attack on the passenger side. Wonder how deep this one's gonna go. It might be easier just to bite the bullet and buy a new fender, though, for this front driver's side. What do you think? Is this fixable? I mean, it's a Jeep. Who knows what other kind of surprises lay in front of me here. But I kind of expected that one on the front. Onward and upward with this awesome little sander, though. I'll keep you posted as I make progress. Well, this escalated very quickly. On the plus side, it's going to be real easy now to adjust my alternator belt. Keep on wrenching, friends. But there it is. That is going to be a project. It's going to need some repairs. You can see here, this is the only major rust damage, knock on wood, that I've found so far is in this windshield frame. You can see going down there. That's a very common spot for these YJs to go bad. Well, things have definitely escalated on the 94 Wrangler YJ restoration. Is that what I call it now? Both fenders are off. That hood is detached. We're replacing that windshield frame too while we're at it. That thing was rusting out. We've pretty much got it all stripped down. I'll get the hardtop off tomorrow, and the goal is to get that thing repainted. All my primer, paint, and all the goods have arrived. I'm going with a satin black on this 94 Wrangler. I think it's going to look pretty sweet. One thing is for sure, I'm going to be spending a lot of time with this DA. So many thoughts going through my mind, but I tell you what, this stuff is exciting. Somehow I ended up restoring a Jeep. Be sure to subscribe and follow along. All right, I'm just going to grab my long-handled screwdriver. I'm going to get this nice and square on the back side. And I'm just going to start tapping this. See it kind of move forward. Just gonna keep hitting it. And just watch and make sure you're not making contact with anything. Hey everybody, at BV Madsen here. Just a quick update on the current freaking project. So things have escalated pretty quickly on this 1994 Jeep Wrangler YJ. You can see we've been going to town on things. Instead of trying to fix those cracked and rotted out fenders, I actually just ordered a set of new ones. Surprisingly cheap, actually. Since I'm gonna be painting everything, I figured, you know what? You gotta take the hood off. You gotta paint the hood, you gotta do it right. So I went ahead and did all that. Windshield frame is also out. Front fenders. Man, a lot of opportunities here to clean up things. I'm finding it hard to not start going and dealing with all these little rust spots. I've also found that getting this little strip of black off this thing is going to be a massive consumption of time. As I've been diving into things, of course, I've been finding some trouble spots and dealing with those as best I can. I actually had a guy come over today and take a look at some of these areas. I'm going to need some welding done. He took a look at pretty much all the different spots, and I think I'm good. I think everything pretty minor, and I'm going to be in good shape. The first big project I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up, and I'm going to actually paint the underside of the hardtop, and then I'm going to go ahead and install new gaskets on my windows, and then I'm actually going to paint the hardtop as well. I'm probably going to do the hardtop this weekend, but I was also looking, and I was like, well, you got the fenders off. You might as well replace the shocks. You might as well replace the brake lines. You might as well replace like all these different parts. What I really hate about the brake lines is that they've all been like rhino lined underneath, so I really don't have much of an idea of the condition of these lines. These shocks have been shoddily painted, and also, I mean, why not refresh it? I have access to like everything right now. I'm also gonna go ahead and redo and replace the rear drum brakes on this YJ. That looks like a lot of fun. New shocks, all kinds of parts are arriving in the mail daily. At the end of the day, it's just comes down to me getting out here, spending time in the shop, and starting to get things kind of cleaned up. Like in here, there was a gasket or a little seal here for the hood. It was just painted over with orange. So I went ahead and got a new one of those, and now I got to get in here and get all the remnants out. I think that's a good job for a wire wheel. For the most part, all the bolts came out when pulling the front fenders. I only broke 2 bolts. There's one right there. It's probably the best one to break because that's going to be pretty easy to drill out, and I can find a new bolt for that. Over here, I've got my new windshield frame. I've got new glass. I've got new seals. I mean, parts are piling up really fast. I'm really going to need to start taping things off and getting paper and plastic over stuff because I certainly don't want to mess up this really awesome interior that I got done completing earlier this winter. Parts, product, all kinds of things are showing up every single day. The biggest thing that I'm noticing on this Jeep Wrangler project is space. I mean, the mechanical stuff, the wrenching at the end of the day, the painting, all of that, it is what it is. But it really comes down to space. Just everything is so much freaking bigger, and it's really stretching my limits on this like single stall garage. So I'm having to get pretty darn creative. I did get some cool new stickers for the shop. I think there's going to be a lot of MacGyvering it going on. Oh, and for those of you wondering, I'm going to up my game. I'm going to learn how to use a proper spray gun on this. This is going to translate well on a lot of motorcycle builds in the future. I'm actually really looking forward to learning how to do this. Finally going to put that air compressor to proper use. If you don't hear from me for a while, there's a good reason. It's because I'm going to be spending a ton of time with this sander, getting this thing where it needs to be to start laying down some primer, some paint, and all that good stuff. I've definitely upped the ante on the wrenching. So I'm giving myself pep talks right now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Quick update, and I'll keep you posted along the way. Be sure to subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit up the Keep On Wrenching group on Facebook. And you know what? If you made it this far, you deserve a free sticker. Head on over to keeponwrenching.com. Oh, I might as well tell you, too. This thing's going to be satin black. It's going to be pretty sweet. We'll see you in the next video or live stream. Next, I'm taking that bit and I'm putting it on my old school impact driver. Not using an electric impact driver on these. You're just going to strip out the head of the bolts. Ask me how I know. Hey everybody, at BB Matson here. A productive Friday evening. The Jeep Wrangler project continues. I gotta get this hardtop out of the way, and I just hated the white. Now we got it all nice and undercoated. She's curing now. I went with an off-the-shelf product, Raptor truck bed coating. This stuff went on smooth. It took 3 cans to do the whole interior of the hardtop. Prep was pretty easy, just washed it with Dawn. And then I rocked sub 120 to scuff it up. After that, I hit up the old shop vac to vac up the dust. Then I wiped it down with a proper degreaser. From there, it took 2 coats of the Raptor truck bed liner. I think the taping off of the window took the longest. I'm excited. This is gonna look sweet. 1 more objective completed. Hey everybody, at BB Matson here, in the process of repainting the Jeep hardtop. In order to do so correctly, you really got to get these window seals out. These aren't fun. First step, you got to get this little connector piece off. Just get a flathead screwdriver underneath it and kind of wiggle this thing out till you get it free. Should just kind of flip right off, just like that. Next thing I do is get your penetrating oil and kind of pre-treat some of this stuff. Let gravity go to work. Let's get some lubrication inside these seals. Your heat gun is going to be your best friend today. This is what that weather strip looks like. That's the outside, and then you've got kind of a knurled interior. Get underneath every piece of that you can. From there, you're just gonna slowly start working your way around. Heat and pull. I got medium heat on my heat gun, and I can just pull and heat. Slowly but steadily, it's coming out. Don't break it.
You wanna hot body? You want a Bugatti? You want a Maserati? You better work, bitch. You want a Lamborghini? Sitting martinis, look hot in a bikini.
Hey everybody, that is a wrap. Or should I say a Raptor-lined YJ hardtop. Just got done installing new window seals. Just a couple other details to go. At the end of the day, I could not be happier with how this all turned out. I absolutely love the texture of this Raptor bed liner. This thing just needs time to rest at this point. And of course, you always miss a spot. I'll go get that later. So yeah, there you go. Final results of the Raptor bed liner. This was the air gun system. Stuff went on smooth, 2 coats, took 2 full bottles. But yeah, this thing's gonna be bomb-proof. Let me know what you think. And what you're gonna do to test this is you're gonna detach it and you're gonna ground that connector inside this plug. All you're gonna need is a little alligator clip piece of wire. I alligator clipped right to the ground. There's a ground post right back there. And then I'm gonna take this end of the wire and I'm actually going to put that inside of the wire piece connector here, and then we'll do our quick test. One thing to note, the contact in this plug is pretty far down there. I did strip off probably, I don't know, a good inch or so of wire to reach all the way down to the contact there. And then again, I'm grounded right to my ground post on the back firewall of the motor. So next, you're just gonna go and turn the key and watch the gauge. All right, all I'm gonna do is turn the key ignition on. I'm not going a little. All right, we'll keep on going. We'll start the process again. We'll go 1. There's 1. And we're gonna go to 2. And we're gonna go over to 3. And we're gonna go down to 4. And we're gonna go to 5. And then we're gonna go to 6. And we're gonna go over to 7. And we're gonna go to 8. All right, it's just getting tighter and tighter. It's like, it's just sucking this whole thing together right now. It was inevitable. The sanding needed to begin. Had to get in here to attack some trouble spots. That one looks like a little kitty cat. Pretty minor stuff till we get down to this point. That one's popping all the way through the floor. Had to power through these Jeep decals on the side, and I'm telling you, this undercoat on the outside, this black stripe, this is taking a lot of effort to power through. But my trusty DA is kicking butt. And my air compressor is earning its rent. Hardest part of the day was getting these rubber interior rear fender covers out. Those things were a pain in the butt. But now I can get in here and clean up all this rust and make sure that all of this stuff gets protected for the long term. I got a table full of everything I need to turn this Jeep satin black. This has become quite a project. Be sure to subscribe to follow along. We're still making progress on the 94 YJ. Today was a dusty day. Getting to the sanding. Also trying my hand at some Bondo. Trying to smooth things out. Just trying to attack things as best as I can. Struggled this morning trying to put these liners back in the rear fenders. I got it eventually. It felt pretty good to flip the switch on the ratchet and start putting parts back on. I gotta say, I really like the way this front bumper turned out. This looks great. I've even started the long process of taping things off as we get ready for paint. Even had some time to restore the jack. Looking pretty special, brand new hardware. Pretty pleased to have the whole engine bay reassembled. All fresh hardware, freshly painted brackets. Making progress. Literally one piece at a time. We'll get this 94 YJ looking clean. Be sure to subscribe, follow along. Hey everybody, at BV Metzen here. Making progress on the Jeep, but we got to get this rear door handle and lock off so this can get painted. I already took it off, but there is a little cover that goes over the mechanism. Just a bunch of Torx bolts. Pull that off and the cover comes out, and this is what you see. First things first, let's unhook the mechanism. Very similar to the doors. We're just going to tilt this little piece out of the way, and this little bar should pop right out. This bar that we just took out actually operates the lever. When you're taking out the cover, the mechanism should come free at this point, so try to pull this thing straight out. I got one rogue torque hitting here. Once I get that whole assembly is going to come right out. Once you get that loose, you'll be able to tilt this out and get the whole thing apart. This is tied to your lock. To get the lock out, it's going to be the same deal on the doors. We just need to kind of knock this shim out. We're going to get a flathead screwdriver, knock that shim out, and the lock should pop right out the front. Let's see how easy this is going to be. Just like that, it's sliding out and into the bottom of the door. Time to go grab the magnet. But now we can go ahead and just push that lock straight through. Note the orientation of this connector. It is pointed down. Now we're looking at the door handle itself. It's just 2 Torx bolts are going to hold that thing in, and then that should pop right out the back. I think so. Let's see if we can get lucky with these. Just like that, nice and easy. No issues at all, except dropping the bolt on the floor. And there goes the other one. And with those 2 bolts out, the whole unit is going to pop right out. Even got myself a couple of free stink bugs. I'm going to go ahead and put these screws right back in here so I don't lose them. And as always, it's always good to bag and tag your parts to make sure you don't lose anything. That was actually much easier than I anticipated, but now I can feel good about getting this thing painted, or sanded and primed and painted. Hope the video helps you out. If you want a free sticker, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you in the next video or live stream. Hey everybody, a quick tip. I did not know this, and I've been painting and using these organic vapor protector face masks when I've been doing painting. And I just known this after years and years and years that in order to make these actually last and be useful for a long time, in between uses, you're actually supposed to store these in bags so the filters don't constantly absorb oxygen and actually kind of burn themselves out. I've probably done myself dirty over the years because I did not know that. So if you're using these organic vapor filters, make sure you're bagging those up in between uses. Just something I thought I'd share, man. Whew, I'm glad I learned that. I just wish I would have learned it a little bit sooner. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here, working on the Jeep, and I want to do an internal frame coat to protect this Wrangler for years to come. I did a bunch of digging, bunch of research, and I kind of landed on this product, Eastwood's internal frame coat. It's in a black finish. Eastwood claims that this will convert, encapsulate, and seal rust on internal frame surfaces. What is that word? Phenolic resin with zinc additive eliminates future corrosion. What is this word, phenolic? So phenolic coatings offer high quality corrosion protection. Mostly what I'm looking for is salt. Trying to keep that frame protected from all the salt so that thing don't rust out. So additionally, there is a zinc additive to this, and basically what the zinc does, according to what I see, is that it's an environmental element protector. Again, I got this from Eastwood. It's their internal frame coating. It comes with the little tube. It's $30 a crack. They do offer some multi-packs as well. So not cheap, but I'm hoping it's going to help me in the long haul. Taking a look at the instructions, before we begin, we want to shake the can vigorously for at least 1 minute. Let's go ahead and do that. Before you get to spraying, make sure that you've got gloves, you cover up, and I would highly recommend a respirator with vapor protection. This is some potent stuff. All right, let's pop the top. And the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna remove this cap. And what you're gonna get with the kit is a little cap with a hose on it. And this has a 360-degree nozzle. Basically, you just put that right on top of the can, and then you can feed this into the frame. Let's take a look at that spray pattern real quick. All right, this stuff ain't cheap, so I don't want to waste a whole ton of it. I got my cap on, and let's just kind of do a little test in the bucket. And you can see it's got a 360-degree pattern. And in order to apply this, you're just going to be looking for some of your entry passages. There's one back here on the frame as well, where you can feed that hose through and then activate. Then you kind of start spraying it and you slowly start to pull your piece back until you get out. So I've actually already done the other side of the Jeep, and it took me about 1 can to do one side of the frame. All right, from here on out, I've got my respirator on, and I'm just going to start moving that tube inside the frame. I'm starting from the back and working my way towards the front. I think the most important thing is just kind of remember where you left off and then try to do an overlap on your next coat. So I'm going to go in towards the back as far as I can go, and then I'll go towards the front as far as I can go and pull that back, and then go to my next entry point, go back, and then go back towards the front. So I think I'm kind of applying kind of a pretty wet coat or 2 passes wherever I can. I don't think you're going to be able to get to every spot of the frame. So in areas where I thought I was maybe coming up a little bit short, I would really pour it on kind of thick, kind of hoping that some of that would travel down to areas that I couldn't quite reach. But for the most part, I feel like I was able to reach, I would guess, like 80% of the frame from the different access points that I did have. Another thing that I noticed on my first run on the first side is that you need to shake this can periodically while you're doing this. Like if you do one pass, shake the can before you do the next one. The can tends to depressurize pretty quick, and I think I wasted a little product on my first run because, well, I didn't really read the directions that close. Just kind of keep going. I'm just trying to find every entry point that I possibly can and working that hose back as far as humanly possible. The other thing, make sure you're wearing gloves because this stuff is really hard to get off of your fingers. The other thing I'll say as well is kind of watch out for when that nozzle starts to pop pop out of the frame, it can be a little bit unwieldy as it's coming out of there. And, you know, on my first pass, I actually kind of sprayed myself kind of over my glasses and my hair. So that was actually kind of annoying. But yeah, just try to be as thorough as possible. And also, here's another little technique that I got a little bit better with as I started using it, is that, you know, feed it all the way in and then just keep your fingers kind of towards the opening of the passage and just slowly pull that tube out. Because again, if you're just kind of pulling it from the can, it's going to pop out and spray everywhere. And once you're done, you can actually reuse and keep this hose kit. There's an aerosol cleaner that plugs right into that cap. Give it a few good solid sprays, and that hose is going to be clean, and you can use it for other applications. I'm kind of thinking, it's like, man, there's all kinds of uses for this little tube to reach some hard to reach spots. So clean it and keep it. All right, so there you have it. One thing I will say about this stuff is this can goes really fast, so be prepared to work fast. I think that that's really, really key. Again, it took me about one can to do one side of the frame. I actually wish I had one more just so I could go a little bit wetter coat on some of it. Maybe I'll pick up some more, I don't know. But I think, you know, 2-3 cans, you should be able to do the frame of your Jeep. Another thing I'd say is make sure you get some cardboard down. You're gonna be dripping out the bottom of your frame in some spots. You can see, hey, it protected my leaf spring. But that job is done. I've gone all the way around. I think I got good coverage because I had stuff kind of pouring out onto the floor. But yeah, I went as deep as I could on this. At least did a, you know, due diligence on trying to save this 94 YJ. So there you go. That's what I tried. We'll see how it works. I mean, hopefully it's as advertised. Only time will tell. Thanks so much for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe. And if you want a free sticker, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. We're going deep on the 94 YJ. See you in the next video or live stream. Here's another little technique that I got a little bit better with as I started using it, is that, you know, feed it all the way in and then just keep your fingers kind of towards the opening of the passage and just slowly pull that tube out. Because again, if you're just kind of pulling it from the can, it's going to pop out and spray everywhere. And once you're done, you can actually reuse and keep this hose kit. There's an aerosol cleaner that plugs right into that cap. Give it a few good solid sprays, and that hose is going to be clean, and you can use it for other applications. Hey everybody, the work continues on the 94 YJ. Today included scraping the old seal between the hood and the cowl. That was a bugger. Now I'm paying some attention to the seal between the cowl and the windshield. This is really prone to leaks, and I did have a bunch of leaks on my floor on this Jeep. Took a wire wheel and got this thing nice and clean, trying to get rid of all this rust. Once I get that all clean, I'm using some seam sealer, and I'm gonna apply this into the crack all the way across the entire Jeep, allow that to dry, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get that covered in paint, and yeah, we'll go from there. Between the two of these, this one sucked more. A lot of goo gone, a lot of elbow grease going into getting that adhesive off. This Jeep is full of 1-hour projects. Be sure to subscribe to follow along with the progress. The Jeep YJ project continues. We've got the frame coated front to back, on the passenger side at least. All things considered, everything went really smooth with the Eastwood rust encapsulator, except this nice little gem. Gonna need to do some more welding. We even got new shocks installed. How pretty are those? I'm not gonna lie though, this was a lot of work to get that frame treated. Really bummed to find this. I'm telling you, it was just old undercoat hiding nasty little things. Actually, this is kind of a big deal, but it's fixable. So I guess if you're buying an old Jeep, be sus of old undercoat, because you never know what's gonna be hiding under there. Video is in the works showing how I did that rust encapsulator from Eastwood, so be sure to subscribe. I'm ready for the rust encapsulator. I'm ready to apply it, and I cannot emphasize enough. Wear gloves, wear long sleeves. Do not get this stuff on your skin. If it dries on your skin, you are SOL. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. We're gonna take rusty spots that look like that and turn them into rust protected pieces that look like that. We're gonna use Eastwood's rust encapsulator. This is messy stuff, but here's how you do it. The goal is to treat this entire frame and underbody before I undercoat or re-undercoat stuff. Putty knives, scrapers, anything you can get your hands on are gonna help knock away any of the loose rust. And I'm telling you, this little, metal brush on my drill is knocking out a lot of the flaky bits. That's really all you gotta do is get rid of the flaky rust. If you got little flaky particles, you need to get those off of there. You don't have to get down to bare metal. The rust encapsulator is gonna protect that, prevent more rust, and protect it for the long haul. That's really the goal. Shipping rust is always gonna start to reveal things. I'm gonna have another welding project in my future. My rear shock mount here rusted through, and it's cracked through here. This piece of metal looks really good. This actually looks pretty good too, but I'm gonna have to cut a big piece of metal and get that welded in. That's why you go and attack these frames and you clean them off so you can actually do a good inspection. I'm actually really glad that I found this. It sucks, but I'm glad I found it. When I started working on this frame, from a galloping horse, this actually looks really good. It's just this old undercoat that is on there, and underneath there are definitely some surprises. So as I'm working my way around finding all the loose bits, that's where I started diving into this little gem. So again, with the rust encapsulator, you're just trying to get rid of any flaky bits. So spend your time, do your due diligence, get in here, and if you see flaky rust, attack it with vengeance. Once you knock off all the flaky stuff, go ahead and use like a 220 sandpaper. And what you want to do is you want to scuff up the entire area that you're going to treat. Scuff it up really, really nice. Get it where you want it. I'm going to end up doing this whole fender well just to future-proof things a bit. And I'm also going to start hitting this frame. Now, because of this little gem, I'm going to skip it. I'm going to probably stay here to here. I'll do this later. But I might as well treat this while I'm at it. And once you've got that all sanded down, go ahead and degrease the part really, really well before you apply your rust encapsulator. Cleaning your surfaces is really important. This is something I've learned over the years, whether I'm working on motorcycles or Jeeps. If you're going to apply a product, make sure that the surface is clean so that it adheres and it actually does what it's supposed to do. Take your time on this cleaning process. It's really important. And if you're feeling good at this point, you're nice and clean. I love my leaf blower. Go ahead and give it a good blow. Don't forget to get on the other side. Might be a good time to crawl underneath there and start chipping away from the backside too. I'm ready for the rust encapsulator. I'm ready to apply it, and I cannot emphasize enough. Wear gloves, wear long sleeves. Do not get this stuff on your skin. If it dries on your skin, you are SOL. It's staying there for life. Not life, but this stuff is tough to get off, so wear gloves. Also, make sure you get some cardboard on the floor, because it ain't coming off your garage floor either. All right, guys, let's shake our paint. 2 minutes. Shake this stuff up really, really good. 2 minutes. Don't skimp. All right, we're all shaken up. Now let's go ahead and open the product up. Again, I've already done the front of the Jeep. This stuff actually goes a really long ways. I was impressed with how far it went. To do the front end of my Jeep, it only took a little bit of this paint, or of this rust encapsulator, and the stuff goes on really, really smooth, and it goes a long way. All right, let's just start laying it on. I'm gonna really dab it in nice and thick on some of these rusty areas. And you're also gonna wanna get underneath some of this stuff too. So you're gonna wanna reach back. You're gonna be going back and forth quite a bit. I also recommend just get yourself some cheap brushes. I tried to clean my brushes. No bueno, man. This stuff was really hard to get out of my brushes. You can paint this stuff over paint. You just need to make sure that you scuff it up first. I think it's really intended to go over rust, though. But you can go over existing finishes. You just need to make sure that you scuff it up. Lay it on thick, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have like serious rust present, I suppose you don't have to cover it up. But here, I definitely have some rust starting, so I'm gonna get pretty aggressive with it in this space. Other spaces, I probably could just apply the undercoat and it would probably be fine. But you know what? You can put it on bare metal too. This is bare metal basically. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it. When in Rome. Here you can see a nice welded plate. I'm gonna make sure that I cake that onto any of these weld seams. And let's just make sure that these really well done repairs are protected for the long haul. All right, I've been down, around, up and around, up and down, just trying to make sure I get a good coat on everything, top and bottom. Again, I'm leaving this spot clear because I'm gonna need to obviously do some welding, but I'm just touching up everything that I possibly can. Spent a lot of time underneath the Wrangler. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All the way down, both sides. We gotta fix that. But moving all the way through, all the way to the back. Eastwood rust encapsulator to protect this frame for the long haul. Prep matters. Take your time, get all that loose rust off. Ugh. One more project down. Still a long ways to go. And I'm telling you, man, it doesn't matter. This stuff goes everywhere. It's like almost like anti-seize. Only anti-seize comes off. This doesn't. I gotta wash my hands, get this off ASAP. So there you go. I think it's a good deal. I think this was worth the effort. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, be sure to subscribe. Also, go get yourself a free sticker. If you made it this far, you deserve it. Go to keeponwrenching.com. Request your free sticker. And go find us on Facebook, the Keep On Wrenching Community Group. I'm happy with this. I like this. I feel like I've done my due diligence. But I'm going to have to deal with that. We'll see you in the next video. Working on the Jeep Wrangler 1994 YJ. Was cleaning up the frame and found this. This is pretty bad. This really got me super concerned. Luckily, we got an easy solution. Well, relatively easy. Apparently, it's a pretty common problem. Taboo Customs makes a kit. Check out this kit. It comes with a new rear shock mount and the plates you need to weld in and make sure that you do the job right. The kit comes with two, comes with both sides, but luckily, my driver's side is A-OK. Getting ready for a productive day tomorrow. I really wish I would have covered up this interior before I got to work. That's gonna be a major detailing job. Front shocks are in. Once the repair is done tomorrow, the rear shocks are going in too. I'll try shoot a video of the progress tomorrow. It was a big day for the YJ as we cut those rotted rear shock mounts off the frame and got ready to weld some new ones in. The bulk of the work on this deal was grinding the old one out and getting that surface nice and flat. Check out this huge hole left by that rusted out shock mount. Luckily, I've got fresh metal going in here. I got to give props to Lucas. Man, he showed up with his mobile welding rig and got the job done right. Look at this. This looks beautiful. It's probably the strongest point on my Jeep now. Big props to Lucas's Portable Welding in Gregory, Michigan. If you need anything, hit him up. Hey everybody, at BV Matson here. Let's keep working on the 94 YJ. One of today's projects is the doors. In order to paint these doors, I need to get out these little folding windows, these vent windows on the front. So that's the first thing. Got to take them out to do a good job. Got to get the seals out. Otherwise, I think you're just wasting your time and doing kind of a mediocre job. I have puzzled and puzzled and puzzled as far as how to get these darn things out. But the secret lies as you follow this rod all the way down. Right underneath this plastic, there's gonna be a bolt. So let's do a little investigating. I'm just gonna cut a slit right in my plastic, and right there, you can see this bolt. Look how rounded out that bolt is. Not good. It's not gonna hurt to get a little PB blaster on this thing right away. All right, while that goes to work, I went into my tool cabinet and found myself one of the more aggressive or more girthy Phillips head screws, and I've put that on my impact driver. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how close these threads fit. You know what? I think that might actually do it. Will they turn? Come on. Come on. Hey, I actually got that by hand. That little screw came out. How about that? Now all we gotta do is pull that screw out. That's what it looks like right there. And now that rod, you can see the metal, that silver metal, you can see it right there. That rod's gonna be free. One other connection to check. Go check on the top of the window. Here's the rail. On the top, there should be a screw there. Unfortunately, mine is gone. Let's check the other door. And the other door seems to have a screw. Gonna have to go find one to replace the missing one. Once you've got those two connectors out, you can actually just slide the window over and lift that up. Careful of the glass on the inside. See, it might be better to go down. I'm trying to figure out what path of least resistance here. But eventually, you're gonna be able to rock this whole vent window out. It's hung up on the glass. Let me show you this. You wanna be really careful here because you can see there's a groove in that glass. But just slowly but surely, that will pop right out. And hopefully, pivot this thing out of the door. So you can see I got hung up there a little bit. Just move it forward and pull it out. There you go. There's your whole window unit out of that bad boy. There should be 2 bolts. Now would be a great time to label it so you make sure it goes back on the right door. I'm also gonna go ahead and just replace my bolt on the piece so I don't lose it. Getting that vent window out is going to make painting the door so much easier. I was looking at this and being like, okay, how can I tape this off? How can I protect this gasket, all that? 2 bolts, you get it out, and now you've got a really nice, clean surface to deal with. You can make sure that it looks nice and tight when you're done. Well, the first one went smoothly. I hope I have the same results on the next one. Hope the video helps you out, man. I puzzled and puzzled and puzzled as to how the hell those things came out. That's how you do it, right there. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe. If you want a free sticker, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. And don't forget to find us on Facebook. Oh yeah, and if you want to support the channel, hit up the links and visit the Amazon store. See you in the next video. Hey wrenchers, hard at work on the 94 YJ. Have I ever mentioned to you how much I hate clear coat? I hate clear coat. Thought this was going to be a simple scuff and paint. The clear coat had different ideas. Well, I made one hell of a mess today, but I got 2 really nice looking bumpers. If you saw the previous short, stripping these down was no joke. Got these coated in rust encapsulator. Now I just need to land on what color I'm gonna paint them to match my 94 YJ. The Jeep's gonna be Rat Rod Satin Black. I was thinking about painting them with the same stuff I did the hardtop in. But the frame came out so damn nice, I'm kind of wondering I'd just paint them that color. I'd love to know what you think. The Jeep YJ from 1994, it's starting to come together. Look at that. Let me know in the comments, man. I'm really torn on what color I should paint these. Should I line them with undercoat? Should I just do them roll bar? I don't know. How the hell do you get these vent windows out on YJ doors? First, remove the screw at the very top. Next, get yourself a knife and follow the rail all the way down to this spot and cut a slit in your plastic. And down inside there, you'll see the bolt. You may or may not need an impact or some other tools because these can be a little bit of a booger. I'm gonna hit mine with a little PB blaster. Insert the screwdriver and hope you can get it out. These are pretty easy. I'm getting lucky today. Remove that bolt, move on to the next step. Now all you gotta do is pivot your window in, lift it up, and start to work it out. Start pulling it straight back. Gentle. There is some glass in there to watch. Once you get it that far, you might get hung up. That's because there's a little flange on the end there. Just tilt it over and it'll come right out. And that's how you do it. Hope it helps you. I gotta say, these turned out pretty damn good. I went with the Raptor liner, did the undersides of the fenders and also the inside of the engine well. I love how easy that stuff goes on, and this stuff is bomb-proof when you get done. These fenders are ready to get mounted to the Jeep Wrangler. Had some extra, so I did the underside of the hood too. It's go time this weekend. Happy Friday, everyone. It was a busy day working on the Jeep. Some incredible progress. The new front fenders are installed. I got it all seam sealed. Whew, this thing turned a corner today. Thank God they look straight. You know you had a good wrenching day when your hands look like this. Just a little bit of anti-seize. Nothing like a good mix of anti-seize, spray paint. Who knows what else. It's a beautiful night in Michigan. We're still making progress on the 94 YJ. Today was a dusty day. Getting to the sanding. Also trying my hand at some Bondo. Trying to smooth things out. Just trying to attack things as best as I can. Struggled this morning trying to put these liners back in the rear fenders. I got it eventually. It felt pretty good to flip the switch on the ratchet and start putting parts back on. I gotta say, I really like the way this front bumper turned out. This looks great. I've even started the long process of taping things off as we get ready for paint. Even had some time to restore the jack. Looking pretty special, brand new hardware. Pretty pleased to have the whole engine bay reassembled. All fresh hardware, freshly painted brackets. Making progress. Literally one piece at a time. We'll get this 94 YJ looking clean. Be sure to subscribe, follow along. Still working on the Jeep 94 YJ. And I gotta say, I'm pretty pleased with this Bondo job that I did. Check this out. The other side was basically the same. And that's pretty damn nice and smooth with some epoxy primer over the top. Basically, I ended up getting down to bare metal on the bulk of the side. So I just hit this whole section with epoxy primer just to level everything off. Woo! I am not a body man. This is the first time I've ever really gotten this deep into stuff. But man, for a layer to work with, I'm feeling really good about that. Me and the trusty DA are working on leveling out all of this stuff. And if that spot comes out as good as the other side, I'm going to be a happy camper. Onward and upward on the Jeep YJ restoration. Be sure to subscribe. And this is my life now. Sanding it all out. We're making progress. Got some old identification stickers on a car project you're working on. They got a bunch of overspray on them. Let's fix that. Get yourself some acetone and get yourself an old microfiber towel. You're also going to want to wear some gloves. Get some acetone on that microfiber. You don't need a lot. And then just gently rub the sticker where you're seeing all that overspray. Just work it in there. Eventually, that paint's going to come off of there. See? Look at that. Super tough. Grab yourself a 3M pad. A used one, preferably. Want to keep it soft. Now we're cooking with fire. Look at that. Overspray coming right off. And that is mo better. Give it a quick wipe. Knock off any residue. And get ready to tape over it before you paint. Be careful though. Sometimes it wipes the ink right off. I got a little pro tip for you today. Coffee is good and mandatory. Dust from sanding ruins coffee. Don't forget to cover up your coffee. Happy wrenching, friends. Very productive day. We got the epoxy primer on pretty much everything. Even got the windshield frame done, but I ran out of paint as I started on the hood. So, while I let this all kind of rest and hang out, figured I'd go grab the scram now that all the parts are out of the way. The orange is almost all gone. A little bit more sanding on the hood, and then the 94 YJ is ready for some proper primer. Oh, I lied. I forgot. I still got to sand down the doors. But we made hella progress today, man. Got all the Bondo work done, got everything sanded out really nice. Had some rust issues, kind of this bubbly issues, got those cleaned up. I can't even see those. Really impressed. And you know what? For a complete amateur, I'm feeling pretty good about this. I am going to be refreshing myself on the whole process with these Eastwood products here over the next day or so. And I'll just be continuing to tape things off. I'm actually thinking about rehanging that rear gate too. Might be easier just to paint it on. Other than that, I think it's beer o'clock, guys. Can I do this one-handed? Keep on wrenching, friends. And we're learning something new every single day. This Jeep Wrangler project's going to be the first time I'm painting with air. I'm using the Drizzle D1. What a stupid name, but super affordable. I think it was about $100 on Amazon, and the reviews online look really good. Comes with a regulator and a filter to get all the oil and water out of the air, so we're good there. I've been just playing around trying to get my pressures right, so I'm going to go ahead and open my air and make sure my air is open down here, and then I'm going to hit the trigger, and that's basically right where I want to be. But you can dial this down or up as much pressure as you need. That's right about where I want to be. Recommendations online say open this up all the way. There are some little guides. Hard to freaking see, but there's some guides there. And then this top one controls your fan, how big your fan is going to be. Wish me luck. Got any tips? It never seems to end with the 94 YJ project. It should be the last of the epoxy primer projects. Just working on this last door today. Hood's all ready to go. Came out real nice. This took a little work, but I'm actually pretty pleased with how this Bondo job went. That thing was real crooked before. A lot of cleaning and degreasing in my future. Because I think I'm feeling it. I think next weekend is going to be prime and paint. The 94 YJ project has completely taken over the Keep On Wrenching garage. One little detail I'm happy about is I did go ahead and interior rust protect the inside of the frame on that windshield. Those bad boys always rust out. But yeah, pretty soon we'll be putting this thing back together after hopefully a positive weekend of paint. Keep following along. Be sure to subscribe. I'm not gonna lie, guys. My first shot at a Bondo job. This was wavy. Now she's nice and straight. Look at that. This couldn't have turned out any better. Got her hit with the epoxy primer. It's go time. Still working on the Jeep 94 YJ. And I gotta say, I'm pretty pleased with this Bondo job that I did. Check this out. The other side was basically the same. And that's pretty damn nice and smooth with some epoxy primer over the top. Basically, I ended up getting down to bare metal on the bulk of the side. So I just hit this whole section with epoxy primer just to level everything off. Woo! I am not a body man. This is the first time I've ever really gotten this deep into stuff. But man, for a layer to work with, I'm feeling really good about that. Me and the trusty DA are working on leveling out all of this stuff. And if that spot comes out as good as the other side, I'm going to be a happy camper. Onward and upward on the Jeep YJ restoration. Be sure to subscribe. We made a bunch more progress today. And I only spilt my paint once. It did take almost an entire gallon to do the whole YJ. Both doors are done. The hood is done. And the whole damn Jeep is done. I'm not gonna lie. This was a lot of work for one person. But I am feeling quite victorious at the moment. Just seeing these parts kind of stacked up feels really good. I tell you, it probably took me 2 hours to tape and plastic everything off, man. Oh my God, what a journey. What a freaking journey. It's gonna be color coming up next, but wait. I got a boatload of wet sanding in my future. One thing at a time, follow along. Be sure to subscribe. You know you're getting close when you're getting into painting nuts and bolts for reassembly on the 94 Jeep Wrangler YJ. I think I'm done with primer. Wet sanding and paint tomorrow. It is wet sanding day. And let me tell you, man, it makes a huge difference. I just got done with this. This is silky smooth. Here, I hope you can hear that. This is really coarse, nice and smooth. That's gonna be great. I'm going through 180 to 320 and 400 as finishing on wet sanding. I am officially halfway done with the YJ. One more side to go. And the trickiest bit is going to be this iconic grille. The hood, the tailgate, one of the doors, and the windshield frame are all done. Still fixing the door. This will be a good story to tell in another video, but I had to start over on that one. One thing I'll say is don't use plastic. As soon as air hits this, you can see the paint kind of flicks off. Bad news. Paper or Tyvek all the way. I gotta get back to work or it'll never get done. Been working hard, colors going on, let's take a look. I don't think this hood could have turned out much better. Windshield frame is looking nice and minty. Tailgate's been curing for probably about an hour now. Looking pretty good. Next up are the damn doors. These doors, I'm telling you. I think I'll be saving the bulk of the Jeep for tomorrow. It's getting a little late, and to be honest, I'm getting tired. It ain't perfect, but it'll do. It keeps kind of getting more and more satin as time goes on. This stuff goes on really nice and easy. Oh boy, it comes out fast. And my little $100 Amazon paint gun, the old Drizzle's getting the job done. I just hope I got enough paint left to do the rest. We'll find out soon enough. I'm pretty happy though. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Follow along. Be sure to subscribe. We got ourselves a black Jeep. Just got done laying the final coat on this 94 Jeep Wrangler YJ. Ooh, it's just gonna dull out. It'll end up being a satin black. I'm really excited to see how this turned out. First look though, I'm feeling pretty good about this. This was a ton of work. Got the last door done, finally. Hood's hanging out, getting some sun. And all the rest of the black bits are hanging out too. Not gonna lie, I learned a ton of lessons. This was my first vehicle painting job, first kind of real Bondo job. A whole bunch of firsts on this 94 YJ. I think I'm gonna make a video about things I learned. There's plenty of videos out there about how to paint a car, but I learned some really valuable tips and tricks along the way. Right now though, I think it's beer o'clock. I'm gonna sit and watch paint dry. I am not gonna lie, I am feeling pretty good about this. The 94 YJ is looking pretty slick. It's good to see the square headlights popping through again. What do you think? I think she looks pretty badass. Hey wrenchers, quick update. Just got done unmasking the 94 YJ. Here she is in satin black. Looking pretty damn cool. Learned a lot during this whole process. Now I'm into reassembly stage. And then it needs a really good detailing. But look at that. Look at that. Tip to be square. She's dusty. Everything's dusty. This was all fully detailed. So a lot of work in my future, but man, painting this was a journey. And I don't know, man, this looks incredible. Doors and the tailgate. Windshield frame hanging out. Even got the hood getting a little bit of sunshine today. Ooh, feels good to have the 94 Jeep Wrangler YJ to this point. A lot of work to go, but I'm stoked. What do you think? Let me know in the comments, everybody. Ooh, that looks sweet. And there you go. This has been quite a journey. Still a ways to go, But getting to this point, there were a lot of firsts. The first time, like, really stripping down an automobile, first time doing body work, first time doing Bondo, block sanding, priming, the first time using air to paint. This Jeep YJ restoration project has been fun. Sure, it was fun, but this was also very challenging. I will never again, like, golf at an estimate for body work. There's a ton of labor involved in doing this. I think I was a little naive in thinking like, oh yeah, just paint some doors, paint some parts, you know. This is a lot of work, but feeling pretty satisfied today as I walk around the 1994 Jeep Wrangler YJ. More videos on the way. I'll be sure to make a video about, you know, tips from my first time painting with air, lessons learned, just, I don't know. I just learned a lot. This has been a hell of a process, and we still got a ways to go. But, man, this labor is done. If you enjoy the video, please be sure to subscribe. Also, go to keeponwrenching.com, request yourself a free sticker. And don't forget about that Facebook group, the Keep On Wrenching community group on Facebook. There'll be more about the Jeep, and there'll be more vintage Honda motorcycle content coming soon, just as soon as I finish this thing up. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, let's install a vent window. All right, get your glass nice and clean and insert it into the rear area of the door. Make sure that you're sliding this into the seal, nice and level. Now it kind of becomes a war of angles. You want to slide your window in at a little bit of an angle. Make sure you're staying seated on that back side. You're going to tilt this window. You're going to catch this back edge into the groove on the back side while kind of pulling this all back. Here, just like that. Notice I'm still connected inside the window on this edge up front. With the window still resting in that slot, you're going to slide this window back just a little bit, just enough to get it into the groove on both the back and the front. It's going to look really kitty-wampus for a while. Now this is where it just takes a little bit of patience. You're going to start rocking this, pulling the window kind of back up. You can reach inside the door if you have to get a little bit of leverage on the glass. But we're going to start moving this window down. You just want to make sure that you're rocking the glass in at the same time that you're moving this in. You got to keep that window in the groove. You hear the grooves I'm talking about. One, for the window, it's going to insert into this groove here. And then up on the front corner, it's got to be in that groove there. You got to keep your glass in this groove here. And then you got to keep your glass in this groove back here. From this point, it's just a bit of a dance. You're just trying to find like those perfect points of leverage. And if you know an easier way, let me know in the comments. But you're just kind of trying to massage this thing in. Keep it in the groove. Start moving that thing down. If you need to, reach inside the door and make sure that your glass is all the way against your seal inside here, because it'll open up a few millimeters for you in order to work this thing in. But there you can see it's starting to rock in just like that. And once you're feeling pretty good and you don't have a ton of tension on your glass, you just start to kind of pull this thing in. Once you get it right, it'll go. Feels like I need to move my glass just a little bit. Back it out a little bit, let the tension, you're just really watching tension on the glass. You don't want to start pinching things. Now I'm just working on a pivot point. I'm so close to getting this to go, and there you go. See, now it's starting to really slide in. Make sure none of your seals are pinching and holding you up. This one kind of got underneath there a little bit, but that's pretty close. Knock that in, just like that. And we're really, really close to getting this thing in. So this has already taken me a few tries to make sure I'm getting it right. But here's my glass right there, and there's that groove. It likes to kind of drop down into this groove area. So you got to really watch it here and just make sure that you're keeping the glass back against the backside inside this rear seal. It's tedious. Again, I'm not saying it's easy. It can be done though. Once you get it, you're gonna know because it's gonna go together like butter. I'm just looking, making sure I'm in the right spots, making sure both of my window edges are in the seals. This is looking good. Right there, my back edge of the vent window is in the seal. If I come back to the back side here, my window is also in the seal on this side. Once you get it into position, you're gonna go to the top, pull that back all the way nice and flush, and you're gonna see a little screw there, little screw hole there. Grab your screw, and let's put this in. Hold it all the way to the front, and put this in. This will hold that into position. Now we got a couple more to go. Once I got that top one in, I'm gonna come all the way down and I'm gonna look down in here. I'm just gonna reposition this bracket just a little bit. Grab a screwdriver. Try to get this aligned without punching through the glass, because there's your bolt hole right there. You need to go and get that special bolt that we took out earlier, put that in there. There we go. Let's drive this bad boy home. All right, so we just got done doing this one. Now we're gonna come down, and there's gonna be one more screw that goes in right there. Let's go ahead and put this in. This will secure the vent window. From there, let's go ahead, grab our handle, put this on. Let's see if we can get this window to seat in. Looks like it's a going. So again, watching for any pinches that might happen along the way. But so far, so good. We're really just moving our weather stripping right where it needs to be on this window. Now I just need to reinstall the rest of my weather strip. Pretty easy. Work this stuff around, stuff this stuff in. We got ourselves our vent window reinstalled on the door. So there you go. That's how I did it. That's how I installed the vent window, or reinstalled it, on my Jeep 94 YJ Wrangler. Looks pretty good. These seals are kind of a pain in the ass, but I'll get to those later. This was the main thing I wanted to show you today. If you found the video useful, be sure to subscribe. Also, if you want a free sticker, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. And don't forget to find us on Facebook. The 94 YJ is really starting to come together. We'll see you in the next video. Hey everybody, BB Matson here. Time to get out in the Jeep. This was a big project, and yeah, it's time to enjoy this darn thing. We'll take a close look today. We'll go for a little drive. This should be a fun little video. It is a beautiful fall day in Michigan. It's like 70 degrees. Leaves are all changing. I'm out in my Jeep Wrangler, baby. Look at that. All in all, I actually ripped through this project pretty quickly. I'd say I probably had about 6 months in the restoration on this thing once I actually started tearing into things. And I tell you what, I picked up some new skills along the way. There's a reason why. Ooh, getting a little bumpy. Love it. The Wrangler loves it. Oh, the Wrangler loves it. Let's go. You know, there's a reason why people charge a lot of money for body work and painting. It's a lot of labor, man. It's a lot of labor. I'm not sure I ever want to do it again on a full vehicle. I'll do motorcycles, that's one thing. But, yeah. Like here it is, in its element. The 94 Jeep Wrangler YJ. Complete with the square headlights. It's hip to be square. This thing has come a long ways from where we began. And here's what I bought back in April of 2023, a 94 Jeep Wrangler YJ with half doors and a bikini top. It was in red, and it came with a lot of the problems that a lot of old Wranglers have. Overall, it was a solid buy. Now, I did end up getting into some deep mechanical, did a water pump and stuff like that. Never done that, so I had to flex there a little bit, and also had to remove that windshield frame, had to replace it. But man, I uncovered a lot of old bodywork that just started failing. So much so that I had to replace both of the front fenders, and it just kind of trickled down from there. The more prep I would do for paint, the more I would uncover. It really maximized my shop space. But yeah, you can see here, as I started kind of scuffing and I thought I'd be able to just paint over it, I would find things like this. And I really did have to fix these problems because they were just going to ruin a good paint job later. I'd also uncover little things like this that really, really bothered me. So I started getting parts one piece at a time, filled up the back of the Jeep, and started to get to work. Now, this was the big one. I found a rear shock mount that had rotted through into the frame. So that's when I got my buddy Lucas over here, and he did some heavy-duty welding for me, put in a new rear shock mount, fixed all those little rust holes that I found. And then from there, I went to future-proof this thing. I spent hours under this thing, prepping the frame and treating that. Installed new fenders on the front of this thing as well. And then, again, I just keep finding these little issues that needed work. I got a hell of a lesson in Bondo. I don't know how many times I had to redo all of these things from step one. But it was a good learning process. I'd never painted a car before, and this was the first time I ever laid, primers and working through paints. I actually really enjoyed it, but it is a ton of work. I ended up going with a satin black on this, and I think it came out pretty damn sweet. One marathon weekend, and it was back together. Let's take a quick look inside. The interior came out really, really nice. All black, looking really, really clean. This thing is just super simple, super clean. I love it. 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 Got the CB radio all rigged up. Got the barricade floor covers in there. And that looks really nice. And come on back. Let's walk on over to the other side. Got the keep on wrenching tire cover on it, which is really cool. Let's open her up. Got some storage in the back. Oops, sorry for the camera work there. I'm on a little bit of a hill. But yeah, I got some good coverage, good storage here. Got jumper cables, tow ropes, things like that. And then I kept the back wide open. I took that spare, or the passenger seat or the rear seat out. And this just gives me a lot of versatility to be able to put bags and different anchor points and things in here. The fun part about this is going to be really kitting this thing out. Got myself a little CB antenna right on the back rear carrier there. Fits out perfect. Keep on wrenching, friends. All in all, it just came out great. I was able to procure a set of period, stock rims. Thanks to my friend Jason for hooking me up with those. We did front shocks. We kind of cleaned up all this rubber. That was not a fun task. And man, I challenge you to find some of the body work on this thing. It came out so nice and straight. For my first stab at doing automotive body work, I even pleased myself. I get a little bit of grief for it being a 4-cylinder automatic, but I tell you what, I love this thing. It does everything I need it to do. And you can eat a sandwich and talk on the phone at the same time. Let's take a look under the hood. I'll be the first one to admit that I could spend some time detailing out this motor compartment a little bit. But it's a Wrangler. It's on dusty roads. It gets dusty. It gets dirty. And so far, this little 2.5 has been trucking right along. It's been awesome. Some of the work that I did do in here, I did do new upper and lower radiator hoses. I did a new water pump, chased down a thermostat problem, you know, did all new fluids, filters, all of that. Ooh, and I'm really, really proud of my fully restored jack and wrench kit. Look how nice that came out. At the end of the day, though, it really is the square headlights that I just love. Another really big project on this, and this is documented on the channel, was painting, redoing this whole hardtop. This thing came out bomb-proof. Couldn't be happier with how that came out. I used a spray-on kind of a Rhino liner product, and yeah, that thing came out beautifully. I'll be honest with you, this was a bucket list project for me. This is my ultimate vehicle. I absolutely love the old YJs. I'm not getting rid of this one. You'll have to pry this one from my cold, dead hands. This is exactly what I've always wanted. Checking this one off the list. Yeah, honestly, this is my dream vehicle. I should just make this my daily driver. What am I doing? This thing is so fun. Too bad it's so damn cold in the winter. And this is where the Jeep Wrangler is really in its element. This is where it can be so much fun. Getting out on these gravel roads, tooling around, seeing what you can find. So much fun. Yeah, man, this is my happy place right here, no joke. This is so fun to find these little tracks. It's a good time. It's a good time in the Jeep Wrangler. I guess it's photo shoot time, I guess, right? Let's do some glamour shots. Every time I finish a project on this channel, we gotta do a glamour shoot. So here it is. That's my Jeep YJ. It's got full steel doors. I hate those half doors. It's got a hard top. I hate those soft tops. And it is just clean and understated. That's what I wanted. So many people like beef up their Jeeps and all this stuff. And man, for me, I just wanted a chill, low-key Jeep. And that's what I ended up with, man. It is basically a stock Jeep. And those of you who watch the channel, you know that's kind of how I roll. So, yeah, there it is. Worth every hour, worth every penny. I love my YJ. It just puts a smile on my face when I drive this old girl. Love this thing. A new addition. Any guesses? Any guesses at all? Finally got myself back into a Jeep Wrangler YJ. Let's take a look. Long before I was a Honda guy, I was a Wrangler guy, and particularly the YJ square headlight model. And I finally found one. A new addition. Any guesses? Any guesses at all? Finally got myself back into a Jeep Wrangler YJ. Let's take a look. Long before I was a Honda guy, I was a Wrangler guy, and particularly the YJ square headlight model. And I finally found one. There it is in Keep On Wrenching Orange. How about that? There it is, 1994 Jeep Wrangler YJ. And I gotta say, this thing is pretty darn clean. Got a hitch so we can get the motorcycle trailer right onto that, so that'll be